for no baby in. Bitch be saying they got that paper, look, that can't be ish. Them caught the penalty. My energy got me feeling me. Ice hitting on them, these diamond teeth that's into me. And I'm getting right and I'm stacking up and I'm getting to it. And these niggas hate, but they can't touch cause I'm bulletproof. If I'm more right, that's good business. She look good but hang with dumb bitches. Till I'm way too flat for one sister. And if she need the piece, I won't miss it. We put a ring around it. Oh, no. Bitches for the street like basketball goals. I always knew she'd let that lane hit her. Won't get a sip from me, I ain't simple. Bitch, I ain't gonna work it out. I ain't regular out. I ain't gonna work it out. I ain't regular out. You civilian out. Nah, failure out. I ain't gonna work it out. Cause I ain't regular out. Love them A's, damn big, she love, nigga. Ain't no taking nothing, man. I ain't regular out.
Hear the hunger in my voice, they used to tell me to speak up. The problem wasn't what I was saying, they couldn't keep up. Instead of moving around with some patience, they tried to speed up. It got colder than a bitter bitch, found me a way to heat up. What's a favor for a favor if we all didn't make it? Kept it 100 with everybody, looking just for a change. I ain't get caught up in the hype, cause I ain't feel like I made it. Couldn't picture me here now, but here's your moment to frame. And I ain't never understand that self-entitlement spirit. I self-survive, I don't wanna get near it. Before I made the appearance, I took a second, took a look in the mirror. This God, Lord, the only thing that I fear, y'all got me fucked up. It's all passion, it's tradition, it ain't fashion, it's no action. They make question, it's still passing. I think massive, no response, that's still tact. Y'all should quit rapping. Cheap shots, I'm cinematic. I ain't average, I'm an overthrow fanatic. I go, you lose and win like asthmatic. Shot first, that's automatic. I'm the best in my division. In the ghetto like the pigeons, in the hood like the engine. You a bird for that chicken. I don't fake split decisions cause my mind made up, nigga. We in the end of time, but my time ain't up. Now when I was young and running wild and wide-eyed like a cabbage patch, I had to get it as vivid, adapted to my habitat. It's certain shit I won't do, certain shit you can't prove. My shit sound like a payday, yours like more when the rent. If I had $1 for every dollar you counted, I would be broke. Watch it be close, got a better chance, spots in the go. And they know I'm raw, and they know the spot. And I'm feeling lost, still in charge. I don't make you follow, I follow the law. Standing tall like they on Mars. I just got a call from my bro. He behind the wall, told me let it off. Niggas lying for some cat, I got a different line in me. Everybody intimidated, I got that guy. I mean, you can focus on the dimes. I'd rather keep my nine with me. Help me get this off the ground. So know you want to fly with me now. I'm trying to make the news. I ain't playing by the rules. I've been trying to play it cool, but that ain't gonna be enough. Y'all out here looking like fools. Home truth. I ain't never had to choose. I'm trying to get beamed up. Man, y'all trying to make the news. I ain't playing by the rules. I've been trying to play it cool, but that ain't gonna pay the bill. Out here looking like fools. Home of the truth. Y'all ain't never had to choose. Trying to get beamed up. Man, y'all trying to make the news. I ain't playing by the rules. I've been trying to play it cool, but that ain't gonna pay the bill. Out here looking like fools. Home of the truth. Y'all ain't never had to choose. Trying to get beamed up.
ODing on the beat, you know I can't flow. We outside. We outside with us. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in the store, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mask and we was outside. That Glock loaded extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. I got the world in the palm of my hand. One west sleeve stretched through it live on the gram. Had a whole world viewing. Click and subscribe. Had them niggas off the block, so them shooters, they want a job. I just put them on the payroll. When I get control them, I just mold them like they Play-Doh. Soldiers giving Halo, trying to get up at them pesos. 40 cows send you out of space, Jeff Bezos. And Jeff Bezos, leave you all boxed up. All cause my delivery, I be on that prime shit. Take you time to get with me. Got me like Vladimir. Treat you like the Ukraine. Raid your little city. city, now you boating like Usain. Scope costs more than the rifle. I got new aim, fresh kick, spit with the blick. Not my shoe game. Used to have a dirty 30 tied to a shoestring. Now I got the Ruger 5 and 7. That's my boot thing. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it inside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mess and we was outside. The block loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, cause we outside. Before the COVID had the mess and we was outside. The block loaded, extra mag and it's outside. There's one west for that bag and we outside. We outside. I don't talk hardly. Be there when you call me. Send them Philly clippers at your head like a Baldy. Chopper get the run down your block like a Harley. No, this ain't a big hog. This the big dog.
In your city, swinging through the jungle like it's pitfall. In the water wading, marching to my cadence. Big bursts of thunder in my hands like I'm reading. Shitty little combat sounds, but I ain't playing.
Look 'em in the eye before the war like a weigh-in. I'm up in the AM, politicking movement with that Draco from the vid because it's proven. Waiting on my brother how to bid, he ain't do shit. That's how life go. Win some, you lose. Seen a little nigga beat a big nigga out his shoes. Seen that nigga come back, pull up with a gun strap, rob everybody outside, told him run that. We outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in the club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. Outside, and we outside. Before the COVID had the mask and we was outside. My Glock loaded extra mag and it's outside. It's one west for that bag and we outside. Outside, yeah, we outside. That temperature's getting hot, we take it outside. You run your mouth up in this club, we take it outside. I got my killers with me, you won't make it outside. We outside, and we outside. Outside, and we outside. We outside, yeah, we outside. One west on them corners and we outside. We outside with it.
Yeah, those are messed up, no. That news is to beat the home, nigga. Yeah. Go on, get on his ass real quick one time. 144, baby.
They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, me whole thought. Yeah, ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I go with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this door, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm too hardcore. Wait up, let me make a call right quick. I'ma start another war. I was hurting when she left, but I don't care about anymore. I need a Vaseline like my Nina Puffer boy. Took a sock, watch the dark. Matter of fact, like the dark. Any problem, let them go. We gon' snap they soul like Shane Shaw. Put them out of service, keep them tools like this Harvey Free. Try to hope it's way too late. I'm headed straight to the safe. Throw that one up like a trophy. I'm that nigga, ain't no debate. Told them boys we taking notes. Call them up like set the date. This shit a piece of cake. Yeah, my bitches came from Whole Foods. Told them put on that top 3. Then bring me my house shoes. Don't make excuses, make moves. These niggas are grateful, gotta show them UPK rules. I'm making this like I can't lose. They said you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they trade that beat, I ride that bitch just like a horse. She about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, the whole fuck. You ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the fart. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You even low on this door, so that bitch is either or. Yeah, I know them niggas ain't cut like that. I swear I'm too hardcore. Yeah, I just got off the call. I'ma start another war. Spit a plate up with my niggas, get your knife and your fork. They ain't locked in with the count and with the speaking to me fart. Yeah, I just took the floor. Ain't no cowards in my campaign. They can't stop the campaign. Tell them bring the champagne. They know I'm a champion. They can see that outcome. Did them niggas bad, got them tied down and out there. You can't do with the step, but niggas been down since day one. We run up the bands, bitch like Dylan. They say you get on, you gon' represent. I said, of course. Soon as they play that beat, I read that bitch just like a horse. Yeah, about to go dumb, yeah, bitch, we whole start. Yeah, ain't know they call me Obi-Wan. I come with the force. You gon' ride, yeah, of course. Get it lit up like a torch. You either low or this low, so that bitch is either or. I told you niggas, you ain't cut like that. I swear I'm too hardcore. And I just made it go. We gon' start another war. Yeah.
Fuck wrong with you, boy? You know what time it is, nigga. Better watch how you step in. Yeah. But that was my niggas. Yeah. Got my nigga Ramon with me. But that was my niggas, it'll be an honor. You know what I'm saying? Under commanding general. That was my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Look. Hey, straight off the top, I love all of my niggas. That shit ain't gon' stop till we on top and we ballin' my nigga. We be fly as fuck, you know them bitches be stalking my niggas. That shit'll never change and it's the same with all my niggas. City to city, I should be at home. That's what my ribs say. But bitch, I'm grown on many streets and closed caption. Niggas know we bout that action. If a nigga play with me, then my heart can gon' let him have it. Hey, make you the shit, this truth the shit. Nigga play, I let that Ruger hit. Get on them tracks, they be like, who is this? I'm rude with it. Ain't got no manners, all them pussy niggas talking shit. Y'all know they can't stand us, but we UPK, Louisiana, bitch, that's what I'm reppin'. And my niggas solid number, real ones in my section. If you wanna get down, put your boots on, start stepping. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you steppin', cause brotherhood, I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them. I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For I take your life or let you take mine. That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get up.
I got you. Let it rap real quick. Look. The city eyes, it's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga, cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shot in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, but tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation falls if you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times 2. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. Colder than the avalanche, way above average. Fierce taste, he told him make me an apple tree. Left us in the valley full of bones, it's my whole fam. Java, come on, man, dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evans to a mall quad, telling me how them crackers turn the shower to a ghost town. Focus out there, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Never like shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, so tangent. Try to warn them niggas we bear arms like tarantula. Them mother niggas rap, I make anthems for it. I really seen prophets under this banner. Make my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that's some dirty to handle. Look, I move like a facility. Precious cargo, spirit ancient, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Orno. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Round with y'all, just left the state bridge, looking for a bitch better than baby's kid. Remember I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone ever since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence, I got you. Let it vibe real quick. Look. The city out, it's time to poke off. My God, a real nigga, cause he want no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shot in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, but tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation falls to you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit.
How about you outside with the club? Clap it up, Akim, to water. Gracias por tu servicio. Please be seated. Siéntate. Let's get it on, Akim. Aguafian out there. I'll answer all of your questions, solve all of your problems. Un momento por los anuncios. Nosotros somos la escuela israelita de conocimiento. Nosotros somos la escuela israelita de conocimiento práctico universal. Comenzamos en 1 West Calle 125, Harlem, Nueva York. Desde 1969, debajo del mando, General Yahana. Carnales, esta es la verdad. Si tú eres hombres hispano, negros o indio nativo, tú eres Israel, el pueblo elegido de Dios. Tu madre y tu padre dicen que somos un culto y mantienen su iglesia sin culpa, pero su iglesia es culpable de todo lo que nos están pasando. All right, let's get it on, Akim. I'll take your questions, brother. How are you, shy? I'll take your questions, please. Por favor.
Kind of one, kind of quick shout out.
Let me get the warrior. Oh, you got people with us right here?
Kind, sir.
Let me run them down first, then I get to you, warrior. All right? You got it.
We got Montreal in here with us.
Montreal. Give Montreal a hand, Akim. Go ahead.
ISUPK Florida is in the building.
ISUPK Florida. Give him a hand.
Got Trinidad here with us.
Trinidad. Give them a hand. I see you, Trinidad.
And Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. All right, Milwaukee. Good to see you, warrior. You ready to rock?
Count out of one.
Let me get Harlem first with the question. You got it, Ak.
Shalom, General.
Please, warrior. Please, good to see you, Ak. Shalom.
I would like a general breakdown on Romans 4, chapter 6 through 7.
No problem.
Romans chapter 4, verse 6. Even as David also described the blessedness of the man unto whom God imputeth righteousness without works.
Let me catch up with you 1 second. Where are you at again?
Romans chapter 4, verse 6.
Romans 4 and 6. Stand by. Romans 4 and 6. All right, go ahead.
Khan. Verse 6. Even as David also described the blessedness of the man unto whom God imputeth righteousness without works.
Keep going.
Verse 7. Saying, blessed are those whose iniquities are forgiven.
Are what?
Are forgiven.
Are what?
Are forgiven.
What is this about? David spoke about the man whose righteousness was accounted unto him without works. And how was his righteousness accounted to him without works? He was forgiven for his unrighteousness. Why is Paul bringing this up? Because this is what Jesus Christ has afforded you and I. The Christian church uses precepts like this to say it is not unrighteous to sin. This precept is saying it absolutely is unrighteous to sin. That's why you need, it's right in front of you, same brother.
Forgiveness?
Forgiveness. If it was not wrong, why would you need to be forgiven for it? Do you understand? The only way you need to be forgiven for a thing is if that thing is
forgiven.
If is the only way you need to be forgiven for anything is if that thing that you've done is wrong. Do you understand?
Concert.
David spoke about this because David did some things that were wrong and he was forgiven for them. Why was he forgiven? Because he asked the Most High God to forgive him. And he asked the Lord to give him another chance. That's why, gracias.
That's why Paul is bringing this up, because here we are, men who cannot, the Lord can never look at our works and say we're righteous based on our work, because our work is
Wrong.
unrighteous. That's correct. And because our work is unrighteous, we need to be
Forgiven.
forgiven. That's it. That's the whole game right there. Now, how do you get forgiven? This is right in the Bible. If you want forgiveness, what do you have to do?
Repent.
Give him a hand. That's it. That's the Bible, young warrior. This is what you just explained. Theologians and preachers and Catholic priests do not understand. They believe that Jesus Christ died, so now because he died, it is right to eat pork. It's right to eat shrimp. It's right to molest children. It's right to murder. It's right to break the Sabbath by forcing people to go to work on a day that God gave them to have to themselves. They believe those things are right now. David is saying that they're wrong, and if you've done them, you need forgiveness for it. Paul is bringing that up because he's teaching about Jesus Christ to say our works are unrighteous. And David said, blessed is he that have gotten forgiveness for his unrighteous works. That's you and I. The Catholics believe that nothing is unrighteous. You understand? The Christians believe that nothing is unrighteous. We're going to read it from the top and then you read it again. Go ahead.
Khan. Romans chapter 4, verse 6.
Please, Levi.
If I may, I don't want. Can you break it down from verse 4, Baba Kushal?
No sweat.
The water, sir.
Verse 4. Now to him that worketh is the reward not reckoned of grace.
Now to him that worketh is the reward not reckoned of grace. Is that what you just said?
Concert.
Keep going.
But of debt.
But of what?
But of debt.
Meaning what? Let's say you never committed any sins. Let's say you kept the commandments your entire life and you never did anything wrong. Then God would owe you a blessing. You understand? He would owe it to you. Why? Because you can look at him and say, well, Lord, I kept every commandment. I never broke any of your laws. You said if a man does not break your law, he will receive a blessing. Let's have it, Lord. Lord, you owe me a blessing because I kept my end of this agreement. Then the blessing that you would get from God would be what God owes you. It would be what, Levi?
A debt.
It would be a debt. Continue.
Verse 5. But to him that worketh not.
But if you've broken the deal, if you have had a Christmas tree in your house, if you've been to church, if you've celebrated your birthday, if you have eaten pork or shrimp, or a lot of out there in Trinidad, I think y'all eat mongoose out there. Ask them about that, Levi. Out there, you know what a mongoose is? That's a possum up here. It's a and they eat what else? What's that green thing? That's iguana. They out there eating iguana and possum. And guess what you brothers up here are doing? Eating pigs. How vile are you? You eat a pig. A pig is a dog, basically. That's it. It's a possum and a pig is a dog. It's so close to a dog. I mean, I don't know how different it is than a dog. It's a dog. And you eat pigs constantly. It's disgusting. Well, if someone has done all those things, keep going.
But believe it on him.
But what?
But believe it on him.
How could you prove that you believe on him if you've eaten pork and eaten shrimp and murdered and committed crimes? How would you prove that? It's in the Bible. How could you prove what you believe? Come on, warrior.
By repenting and not doing
Give him a hand. That's it. So I am a sinner that believes on him. I'm a person who has done everything that God said not to do in his law. But I believe in him. So now I am changing. I am amending my ways. That's in the Bible, young brothers. Right? I am repentant. Though my sins be as scarlet, yes, I shall be washed with hyssop. I will cleanse myself of what I've done and I will change. Go and sin no more. That's how you prove that you believe. Even though you are a woman that committed adultery, you will leave from that judgment where you were forgiven and you will never do it again. That proves that you believe. You understand? These are precepts I'm just quoting to you. All right. All right, please go ahead.
Khan. But believe it on him that justifieth the ungodly.
That does what?
Justifieth the ungodly.
Him who justifies the ungodly. How does the Most High God justify the ungodly? How does he justify? If you know what the word justify means. Why don't we look it up for a taste, all right? Let's look it up first. That's probably more prudent, all right? Whenever you're ready. Gracias for the drink, boy. The water.
Justified. Number one, having done for or marked by a good or legitimate reason. Number two, declared or made righteous in the sight of God.
Read the first one.
Having done for or marked by a good or legitimate reason.
That's the definition. That one. The Most High God has taken the unrighteous, who I am chief among, and has decided to look at my works and to forgive me for what I've done. That's it. To look at me, to look at it and say, well, listen, he repented. He's changed. He's committed his life to being a different person. So now I will justify him. I will forgive him. This is the New Testament and the Old Testament. This is all over the place. This is Jeremiah 31 and 31. This is 2 Kings 8, 2 Kings 12. This is, if my people who I have cast away will bethink themselves and change their ways, I will accept them. This is how God justifies the ungodly. He takes sinners of his people and gives them another chance if they change, which is why Jesus Christ died, to facilitate that change. When I say facilitate, I mean to teach you how to change. Good to go? Keep going. Let me know if my sound is all right, all right? Give me a 1W if you can hear my sound, all right? Well, good to go? The water. The water. Go ahead.
Khan. His faith is counted for righteousness.
His what?
His faith is counted for righteousness.
That's what you need, because Paul said this. Paul wrote the book of Romans, and Paul said, faith without works is dead. Show me thy faith without works. I will show you my faith with works. You can't show anyone what you believe in without doing anything. That's once again the doctrine of the Christian church. Everyone believes in God. Ask Donald Trump if he believes in God. Ask him. Donald Trump just today set up a federal agency to protect Christians. It happened today. And he's going to stop anyone from harassing Christians, which is absolutely illegal in the Constitution to have any religious-based anything. America, Donald Trump today decided to absolutely support Christians and to make sure Christians are protected from everyone else. He believes in Christianity. That's why he set up that government agency today. And Donald Trump is a felon and a rapist. And he went to Jeffrey Epstein's island and danced with him. But does he believe in God? Absolutely he does. If you ask him, he'll say yes. See, faith is easy to say you have it, but it's far harder to prove you had it. Faith without works is dead. Without doing something, you don't have any faith. You understand? We know we have faith because we have repented. We keep the commandments. That's the proof that we have faith. We didn't believe in God before, right? And we were unrighteous. But then we changed, and now our faith has proved that we deserve a second chance. Keep going.
Khan. Verse 6. Even as David also described the blessedness of the man unto whom God imputed righteousness without works. Verse 7.
Put that down. You remember that, right? Keep going.
Verse 7, saying, blessed are those whose iniquities are forgiven and whose sins are covered.
You understand that, correct?
Come.
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Levi.
In verse 6, David is the blessed man.
David is the blessed man who committed many sins. You know, he slept with that brother's wife and then set him up to be murdered. Correct. He paid for it, but he didn't lose his life. Keep going.
Verse 8, blessed is the man to whom the Lord would not impute sin. verse 9.
What does it mean to impute sin? Same young brother up front. What does that mean? Punish. That's it. You are blessed if God did not punish you for your sin. That's a great blessing. Because the punishment for sin means you don't get a chance to do it better. You die. You don't get another chance. You committed a sin, you're dead. They said, Lord, behold, we have caught this woman in the very act. What should we do with her? Waiting for him to say, let her go free, so they could stone Christ. Because that would be against the law to say, let her go free. Because the law of Moses says to stone her until she be dead. Jesus Christ said, yet let he among you who is without sin cast the first stone. Then their hypocrisy convicted them, because they were about to kill a woman for doing the same thing they do. And they realized that. And they dropped their stones and left. And then he said, woman, where are your accusers? And she said, they have gone, my Lord. And he said, then I will not accuse thee either. Go and sin no more. That's the game. That's the whole thing. She's an unrighteous woman, wicked as she could be. You know she was a whore. They caught the man on top of her. Ain't no question whether or not she did it. She did it. She still didn't die. Blessed is the man whose sin is not imputed upon him, meaning she didn't get stoned. Her obligation is to live a life better after that day. You understand?
Come on, sir.
Keep going.
Verse 9. Cometh this blessedness then upon the circumcision only.
Cometh this blessing upon the circumcision only? Who are the circumcision at this time? Who knows? You want me to tell you? The circumcision are the people raised in Israel. Raised in Jerusalem. Raised in a land where the common everyday person kept the law. That's what it was like living in Jerusalem at that time. They had the Levites, they had the priests who would stone people if they were caught in the act of adultery, who would stone people if they were not keeping the commandments of God, and they made sure that every male child was circumcised on the 8th day. And if he wasn't, he was kicked out. Him and his family had to be ostracized. They couldn't come into the temple. They couldn't live in Jerusalem. They had to leave. They became outcasts because they did not circumcise their son on the 8th day of his birth. Now, is this only for the people who have been circumcised? Or can the brothers and sisters who live in Rome have the same benefits? Can the brothers and sisters who live in Galatia have the same benefit you do? You commit sins and don't get killed. That's why you drop your stones, because you commit sin all the time and you don't get killed. Jesus Christ said you have omitted the weightier matters of the law. You take tithe of cumin and cinnamon and anise, but you omit the weighty matters of the law, justice and righteousness, that you throw away. In doing so, you have punished and killed the innocent. That's what you've done. Sadducee and Pharisee, they didn't get killed when they sinned. So why do the people in Rome have to get killed because they were sinners? Why can't they have a second chance the way you take a second chance? That's the point. Read it one more time from the circumcision.
Verse 9. Cometh this blessedness then upon the circumcision only, or upon the uncircumcision also?
Can we do it too? Can the brothers who lived in Rome, can't they do the same thing you're doing in Jerusalem? Or is this only for the people who have been circumcised? If so, you don't understand circumcision. You know, the IUIC teaches that you have to be physically circumcised. Ibad just sent me the tape. They teach that you have to be physically circumcised in there. Someone that is saying that and is claiming to be in an Israelite group is absolutely as ignorant of the law as Donald Trump is of morality. They're absolutely ignorant. Continue.
For we say that faith was reckoned to Abraham for righteousness.
So for we say that faith was reckoned to Abraham for righteousness, meaning Abraham was around way before Moses. There was no law of Moses. So how do you determine if Abraham was righteous when there was no law? How do you even call Abraham righteous when there was no law to judge him by? Now we have the law of Moses, and you're judging everyone by that law. and killing people that you should not be killing because you don't understand the law. So then how was Abraham righteous? His faith made him righteous. Before the law, how did Abraham show you his faith? Same brother.
He was going to sacrifice Isaac.
How do you show your faith?
By action.
You're right there. You just say the same thing. Abraham was around before the law. You know Abraham had faith because Abraham went to kill his son because God told him to. So here we are in Rome, in New York, in Trinidad, in Wisconsin, in Canada. How do we prove our righteousness? By same brother.
Keeping the commandments.
By doing what God told us to do. It's here telling you to keep the law. It's right here. It's right in front of you. He's bringing up Abraham because Abraham is famous for obeying God even in the extreme. And he did that without Moses, without stonings. If Abraham didn't kill his son, what would have happened? If he said, no, I'm not killing my son, what would have happened? Now just think logically now. If he did not kill his son, how about this? If you ate pork in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, what would have happened?
You'll be put to death.
If you were caught committing adultery in Jerusalem 2,000 years ago, what would have happened?
You'll be put to death.
If Abraham said, no, Lord, I am not sacrificing my son, what would have happened?
He would have been, God would have put him to death.
How? Who would have done it? Was there some law saying that if you don't obey the voice of God, you die? No,
Sir.
There was no law that said that. There is a law saying if you eat pork, you die. If you commit adultery, you die. If you're a sodomite, you die. That's a law. Who gave us that law? Moses. Abraham was told to sacrifice his son. Is there some law that says you have to sacrifice your son or you get stoned? No, there's not. What would have happened to Abraham if he did not sacrifice his son? It's right in front of you. You just got to break free. It's right there. It's clear, and you know why you got killed if you ate pork or committed adultery, because the law of Moses says it. Abraham was around before the law of Moses and went to kill his son because he was told to. Now I'm just asking you, if he didn't do it, was there some priest that would have dragged him out and stoned him? Was there some Sadducee and Pharisee that would have, stabbed him or kicked him out or ostracized him or threw him out the city? So what would have happened if he would have not obeyed God and went to sacrifice his son? Just logic. Let the brother try. Go ahead.
He would have been unrighteousness in the eyes of God.
What would have happened to him? That's how you break through. It's right there. I got to pass on you in a second, but it's right there in front of you. Can I make it more simple for you?
Concert.
If you walk out this door and you go eat pork or you go get a prostitute, what's going to happen to you?
I could get an STD.
You could. There's a lot of people having sex with whores in Harlem tonight. Right? Right. If you go down the street and you get a bacon and egg sandwich, right? What would happen to you? Have you committed sins in the past before you were in the school?
Concert.
Did someone stone you?
Sir.
Right. What would happen if you did it again?
There will be no forgiveness from God.
Okay, you're on it, but you're not staying in the topic with me. You're right, but you're not just staying in the topic. Let me let the young brother right here answer it. You want to give it a shout out? Go ahead.
Con.
What would happen to you if you walked out the street and you went and got what's that Puerto Rican pig that they love so much? Pernera, right? If you went and got a pernera platter
If you went down to the Cuchi Fritos and went and got you the pig ears and the pig and the pig soda and the pig dessert that they sell in that Cuchi Frito, and I don't go in there to get anything because it's pig in the dessert, pig in the rice, pig in the popcorn, pig in everything, pig in the drink. Right? So if you went down there and did that, what would happen to you?
You'd be unclean, sir.
What would happen to you?
Well, knowing that what you know, the Most High would be upset with you.
I'll ask you again. What would happen to you?
I'm not sure if he would kill you on the spot for that.
What would happen to you? That's all. It's right there. It's right there. You brothers are so righteous. I think that's the pressure. They too right. It's like Cuchi Frito. The fuck is he talking about? It's pork in the napkins in there.
I don't think anything physically would happen to you, but you never know what the Most High will have in store.
That's correct. Let me give you the answer so you can just understand Abraham. Nothing would happen. Nothing. Right? Nothing would happen. If Abraham did not kill his son, nothing would have happened because there were no Levites. There were no Sadducee and Pharisee. There was no Moses and nothing written that said you had to die if you don't kill your son. Nothing would have happened to Abraham. And Abraham still did it. Do you understand? That's faith. That's the real thing. If you can go get a ham sandwich, a pork sandwich, nothing would happen to you. Why aren't you getting it? You grew up eating it, didn't you? You grew up celebrating Christmas, right? So why didn't you celebrate it this year? What would have happened to you if you did celebrate Christmas this year, brother?
Nothing.
Nothing. So why didn't you do it?
Because we have faith in Yahweh.
Give him a hand. That's the Bible. Just like Abraham. Just like him. We're not doing this because we're afraid of getting stoned. We're not doing this because there's some Sadducee that's going to kick in our door and kick us out of the country. We're doing this because we believe. You understand? Because we believe. That's faith. That's the real thing. You understand? That's why Paul is bringing up Abraham, because these brothers living in Rome, they don't have the Pharisee and the Sadducee, yet they do not eat pork. Yet they don't commit adultery. They believe in Rome. Now, you cats living in Jerusalem, do you believe? I don't know. You might just be afraid of going to jail. You might just be afraid of getting stoned. These cats in Corinth, they keep the commandments, and there's nothing that's going to happen to them if they don't. And these cats believe. They got the faith of Abraham. You get the point, right? That's your answer. Levi?
Shalom, Adawan. So like it, sir. I have a few questions, sir. I'll be asking throughout the class. The first one, if I may, Adawan. Can World War III be avoided?
Can World War III be avoided? No, it cannot be avoided. It's biblical prophecy. It has to happen. Could it be pushed off? Could it be delayed? Yes. That time belongs to the Most High God. But the Lord will not be mocked and not perform his word. So he said it, so it's going to happen. But the Most High could delay it. The Most High could speed it up. You get my point? Precept. For the Most High cut the time short. If not so, there would be no flesh remaining. The Most High God had a time when he was going to send Jesus Christ back to deliver the saints of God, the Israelites in captivity, blacks and Hispanics, so-called North American Indians. Then he decided to move up the timetable, because if not, our oppressor would just kill all of us. So time can be up to the Most High God, but his prophecies, he brings them to pass so that he is not mocked. You understand, Levi? Anything else? Please, Ephraim up front.
The odd one. This is part of our color scriptures, Ezekiel 1:5-7. If I may just get a breakdown on it, on how it really relates to color, besides the last part, the burnished brass.
Let me give it to you fast, just for time's sake.
Okay.
Are Arabs black?
La.
Have you ever heard an Arab be called the black man?
La.
Are Hawaiians black? Have you ever heard of somebody referred to an Hawaiian as a black man?
La.
How about Chinese people? Have you ever heard anybody say that the Chinese are black? They're black people.
La.
No. How about, give me another one. I said Arabs already, right? Let me hit you with something. Let me see if you know the answer to this. Does anyone refer to Africans as black people? No. Africans are not considered to be black people. When you say black people, you are not talking about the people who live in Africa. Black people are one people. Now, how could that be when everyone I just described has brown skin, including the Chinese? Everyone I just described are brown skinned people. So why aren't they considered black people? You understand?
Oh, okay.
Right? When you read this precept, it should make it very clear to you, because being black has nothing to do with complexion. Being black is a condition. We are in that condition, and those other people are not. Otherwise, why in the hell can an Arab be black? He's just as brown as you and I. Why can't a Chinese person be black? Why can't they be considered light-skinned? Right? But they're not. They're not considered black. Why aren't Africans considered black? God damn. They're Africans, but they're not considered black people. They're considered Africans. That's what they're considered. They're not considered brown. They're considered to be Africans, because everyone on the planet is brown except for one person. But every last race on the planet is brown. Yet we're the only people called black, and have been called black, my God, since when? Can I blow your mind? 1 second. Everything all right? I teach a class on Thursday nights this time. It's all right. No sweat. Give me a call later. Why are we the only ones considered black? Because being black has nothing to do with complexion. It's a condition. Now let's read.
Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 5. Also, out of the midst thereof came the likeness of 4 living creatures. And this was their appearance. They had the likeness of a man. Verse 6. And everyone had 4 faces, and everyone had 4 wings. Verse 7. And their feet were straight feet, and the sole of their feet.
Color part, bro, just for time's sake. All right. This is the angel breakdown. Everybody knows that, hopefully. All right, you young officers, you'll need this to become an officer. Go ahead.
And they sparkle like the color of burnished brass.
That's his color scripture. You have Job 30 and 30, a color scripture. Psalms 1 and 5, a color scripture, right? It's a color scripture because color to an Israelite is not color. Color is a condition. It's a condition. And we've been called this condition for thousands of years. Give me Acts 13 and 1. This is also on your test. Are you a trooper?
Sir.
Okay, Most High in Christ, and you know already. Give me Acts 13 and 1. Now think how long ago this is. I mean, how long ago? Before slavery, before the white man in America, before the South. Please read.
Acts chapter 13, verse 1. Now there were in the church that was at Antioch certain prophets and teachers, as Barnabas and Simeon, that was called Niger.
Spell it.
Niger.
That word means?
Nigger.
That's what it means. Everybody understands. Why? That's 2,000 years ago. It's before the South, before slavery. Because being black or being a nigger has always had more to do with living this curse that you and I live. Always. Read Job 30 and 30. I'll give you more. Fast as you can, please. You know, Job is famous for suffering, for going through terrible suffering, biblically historic suffering. Whenever you have it, read it.
Job chapter 30, verse 30. My skin is black upon me, and my bones are burned with heat.
My what? My bones are burned with, my skin is black upon me. My bones are burned with heat. I mean, being black is a condition that only you and I live. The Africans don't live it, which is why they're called Africans, which is why when they were bringing the niggers here in slave ships, the North Africans were selling us. And the Africans were selling these niggers to America. Do you understand? Even though we were both what? Brown skin, both of them. Who are the people over there in North Africa, over there, big slave traders that the Moorish, Morocco, the Moroccans. The Moroccans were ridiculous slave traders. And that group, the Dahomey tribe, that they made that movie about, Woman King, whatever the hell that is. A woman king. I thought that was a queen, Salakia. The Dahomey tribe, the Moroccans, go research them. I mean, and the indigenous Africans who sold niggers into slavery. Both of them were brown skinned. Both of them lived in Africa. But we were different than them, a different bloodline, a different heritage. We were not Africans. We were the people whose skin was black and their bones burnt. Each other nigger. Blacks and Hispanics. Right. That's it. Why doesn't everybody use that name? In Saudi Arabia, why don't they call each other nigger? They're brown skin. Why don't Africans use in the Congo? When they're brown, but every Hispanic is using it. Every Mexican, every Puerto Rican, every Hispanic tribe uses that word for each other. They all use it because we share this suffering, because we're the children of God who have been thrown away and cast off. You understand? And that's how you understand it. It has nothing to do with the color of our skin, nor are we even black anyway. You get my point? This is not about that. It's about a condition of God's people that only God's people are in.
So Adawan, if I may,
Go ahead.
These are talking about angels, though, that were also
Yes, it's
black.
talking about angels that were also black.
Okay.
That looked like
Us.
you and I, that were the people or the protectors of the suffering people. You get my point?
Go on.
That's the point. And it's especially at that time, and just like at this time, the Greeks were just, the most dominant thing on the earth since the time of Alexander and his father. That's when white supremacy really began to be powerful. By the time the Romans got in charge, being white was just, a sign of beauty. Being white and having a small penis. That's a fact. Go look at the statues of David and the Greek gods. They all have tiny, tiny penises. I'll explain why. Because in the mind of the white man, having a big penis was grotesque. It was like you were a savage. Why were you a savage? Because those niggers had big penises. And so it was considered to just be a savage, a brute, just like having a beard made you just a brute. Speaking like Abba Gada Hawaza, they called you a barbarian because you talked like Abba Gada Hawaza. They said you're a barbarian, disgusting, a savage. And so having a small penis meant that you were sophisticated and more intelligent. This is in history books. I didn't write that. I'm just telling you. I'm just telling you what you can Google now. What I just said, you can Google on why the penises are so small in these statues, and it will say what I just said. All right, I didn't write it. Everybody understands.
A lot, sir.
All right, go ahead.
All the sisters are cracking up in the comments.
I'm outside. Go ahead, yo.
That's it, sir. Thank you.
No sweat. Whenever you're ready. Próximo. Preguntas.
Consul Florida has a question.
Mm-hmm.
Shalom, General. Yahweh Shem Yahshua Barakatah.
What's up, warrior?
If you may, sir, if I may, First Chronicles, chapter 21, verse 1. The brother wants to know why did the Most High, or why was it a trespass against the Most High to count the people?
Why? Say what he said, please, Ephraim.
Said First Chronicles, Salaki. If you could repeat the last part.
First Chronicles, chapter 21 and verse 1. Why was it a trespass against the Most High to count the people?
Oh, okay. Why was it a trespass? I got you. When David counted the people.
Yes, sir.
I could just answer it for you if you would like, unless you want me to read it. It's up to you.
No, please, sir. Just go ahead and answer it.
David, this was a time of war, right? When David was deciding whether or not to go fight a war. He was trying to make a decision. He was king over Israel, and there was an enemy that was attacking Israel. And David decided to count. Matter of fact, you better read it. There's a part the prophet describes why it was against God to count the people. Get it for the brothers so you can read it, all right? Whenever you have it, go ahead.
First Chronicles chapter 21, verse 1. And Satan stood up against Israel and provoked David to number Israel.
Now, you see this? Now that's important. And let this be a lesson to all of you out there in the UPK when you look at the Christian church and how many Christians that they have. Oh, those Christians. How big is Creflo Dollar's church? I think that building holds 25,000 people up. 25,000 people with some cat who is half a homo and has already said he was wrong about tithes and he was wrong about the scriptures. 25,000 people. TD Jakes' church. What's that homo that does those clips? Jamal Bryant. Jamal Bryant this week said that the IUIC were his favorite Israelite group. Did you hear him say that? Oh, he said that. Did you see the tape?
I did not.
Oh my God. He said his favorite Israelite group was those gospel Qs. You think they the Q dogs, but really they know they Bible. Half a homo. That's his favorite Israelite group. Come on now. Go ahead.
He looked like he would be a good bishop in the
Listen, Paul Bryan looks like you put a purple shirt on him. They're gonna make him the bishop deacon, the deacon of Gadsbury. They're gonna make him the archbishop of Adsbury in there. That's his favorite Israelite group. Many times, because the wicked are so many, it can challenge your courage. You are not allowed to determine your courage based on numbers. You are forbidden from doing that. David tried that and he angered the Lord his God. What do you determine whether or not you're going to fight based on the odds? Based on whether or not it's more of you than it is to them? It's God who decides who wins a battle. David was trying to decide whether or not he'll win based on whether or not he had more men than them. In doing so, you insult the Lord God, who is the author of who wins a battle. It's insulting to him. Go ahead and read it.
Verse 2. And David said to Joab and to the rulers of the people, go, number Israel from Beersheba, even to Dan.
So David went to go do a census. That's what this is called. They do this in America right now. I think every 10 years or 10 years. He went to number all of the people. He wanted to know how many are we, to determine his strength, to determine his might and his power against his enemies. Remember, the Bible says that Satan had him do this. It's right above it. You just read it. Satan had him do this. David sent out a decree to number all the people. Go ahead.
Khan, and bring the number of them to me.
And David said, come tell me the number of all the people of Israel. Bring it to me. Go ahead.
That I may know it.
That David can know the number. Go ahead.
Verse 3. And Joab answered, the Lord make his people 100 times so many more as they be.
You better believe that, Akim. The Lord, Joab, that was the prophet of God who served David. He said, the Lord make his people 100 times more than they be. What do you care how many of us it is? God makes us 100 times more than the number that we actually are. So why are you numbering us? We don't need to be many to defeat our enemies. We don't need to outnumber them. We don't need to equal them. It is God that gives us victory. Him, not our numbers. Continue.
But my Lord, the king, are they not all my Lord's servants?
So then Joab said, my Lord, king, are not all of them my Lord's servants? Don't you control all of them? Keep going.
Why then do it, my Lord, require this thing?
Why would you, if everyone here obeys you, why would you care how many of them they are? They all obey you. If it's 2 of them, they obey you. If it's 10, they obey you. What possible difference could it make how many of them it is? Continue.
Why will he be a cause of trespass to Israel?
Read that again.
Why will he be a cause of trespass to Israel?
Why will ye be a cause of trespass to Israel? You're going to make God punish us because you care about numbers. Those purple pigs, all they care about is numbers. We have 800 people marching. We have 1,000 people. What does that make you feel strong? Do you feel strong because you have 800 people? How many people are in the UPK? We don't know and never know. We don't count a sir of 50. We didn't count our numbers. We keep a roll sheet to know who's in the school. And we never number it, never count them ever. Nor do we gain confidence or discouragement based on numbers. Because if you battle us, you battle God.
Right.
That's it. Anyone that wants to do it can step up and do it. Because everyone in here serves God. Every last one of them. So if you would like to challenge us, please do it. And let's see if your number can defeat the power of God. Many have tried. Our record is pretty good.
Right.
Oh, it's pretty good, young brothers. Pretty good. Keep going.
Khan. Verse 4. Nevertheless, the king's word prevailed against Joab.
Nevertheless, he didn't listen to Joab. He had to know. He had to know. Do we have 1,000 marching purple pigs? How many pigs can we march into a city and march them and count each one? Can you imagine sitting going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10? I mean, how disgusting are you? Can you imagine lining up a ton of brothers just go 1, 2? I missed my count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just so you can feel good. Just so you can go, okay, it's 1,000 of us. Now we're not punks today. Now we don't have to be punks today because there's enough of us. There's enough of us. But meanwhile, brother, we send men out, 2 of them out somewhere. That's it. That's it. 2 of them. Oh, you got 10? Go out with 2. That's it. You 2 brothers go out there and do that. Go get it on. I remember I was an officer of 50 out, and Commander General Yana just took the whole school and said, all of you are going out in 2s. That's it. We could have went out in 20s and 30s. We went out by 2s. We went out, and I went to 52nd and Market in Philadelphia, which is where the Black Muslim Mafia was at that time. And it was more murders down there than you can imagine. You from New York, so you understand what I mean. It was like Memphis, except everyone that killed you was a Muslim. Do you understand? He sent me out there with this captain of 10,000. I forget his name by now. I was officer of 50 odd. And I remember being so eager to go there. I remember specifically going, please, Lord, let me go there, because it was the most dangerous place that I knew at that time. And I was so hungry to get it on. I pray you understand. Hungry to get it on. And so the captain picked me because I told him I want to go there. He picked me and I said, could we go there? He was hungry too. And we went down to the 52nd and Market and we got swarmed by, it looks like 200 of these damn disgusting drug dealing, drug addict, half sissy Muslims. And they went and came behind the camp and took our Allah sign. And they went and they came behind the camp and I reached out to grab him. The captain grabbed my arm. They took our sign and we just began to stand there and berate Allah and talk about Allah with such anger. I remember the anger being so hot because they took our sign. And we just stayed there and just did it. And that was that. And that's One West. That's the school you join. And you should know that. If you in here because you get your courage from being in some army, you're in the wrong place. You got to go join the white man's military. You got to go join Esau's police force, or you got to go join the Purple Pigs or Creflo Dollar's marching group, or the people that's going to march over some bridge in the South. You got to go join them if you only are brave when you outnumber someone. If so, then you're in the wrong place. Because in here, our bravery comes from our belief in God, and it is in him that battles are won. And that is why David was so wrong for numbering the people that day. Keep going.
Khan. Wherefore Joab departed and went throughout all Israel and came to Jerusalem. Verse 5. And Joab gave the sum of the number of the people unto David.
Joab followed his orders. I'm sorry, Joab was not the prophet. Joab was in the David's mighty men. He was his general. He tried to convince King David not to do it. David decided against his counsel. So Joab followed his orders and went and numbered all the people and then told David the number. Go ahead.
Khan. And all they of Israel were 1,000,000 and 100,000 men that drew sword. And Judah was 460 and 10,000 men that drew sword. Verse 6.
You notice it's saying draw sword, right? Because that's the point. The point is, how many soldiers do we have? So I could feel safe. So I could feel like I can defeat the Philistines. I can defeat the Moabites. He wanted to know how strong his army was because he didn't believe that God was the reason that men won battles. He believed that numbers mattered in a battle and numbers do not matter. Continue.
Khan. Verse 6. But Levi and Benjamin counted he not among them, for the king's word was abominable to Joab.
Meaning Joab was it was abominable to Joab that he didn't count the Levite priests and he didn't count Benjamin because the king's word was so vile to him. He knew it was just an evil thing to do. So he didn't count the Haitians and he didn't count the Benjamins. He just gave him the number of Judites, which is what David cared about any goddamn way. So he just gave him the number of Judites. Here's the number of Judites, and let that be enough. Continue.
Khan. Verse 7. And God was displeased with this thing.
God was what?
Displeased with this thing.
Yeah, God can't stand all that. We got 1,000 marching men. We got 2,500 marching men. Look at us. We're strong. We're so pretty. We got so many pretty colors on. It's 1,000 of us. That displeases God. God does not like that. And that's why when we battle those purple pigs, we destroy them. I was thinking about changing Big Frida's name to, what's the woman on The Color Purple that was played by Oprah Winfrey? Oh. Sisters out there listening, who did Oprah Winfrey play in The Color Purple? The sister's going to know. I don't remember her name. Big Frida. Big Frida is such a good name, though. Who's Big Frida in the IUIC? His name is Bishop Abayel. That was gay enough just without even making fun of him. I mean, Deacon Abayel. Oh, my goodness. Was it Bishop Abayel or Deacon Abayel? Is that his name? Abayel, right? Who played, please, officer? No, not Sophia. No. In The Color Purple, Oprah Winfrey played the role, Captain. I thought Celie was Whoopi Goldberg. See, sisters watch this movie once a day.
They're all saying Sophia.
Oh, they know.
They're all saying Sophia.
No, that's not the name I remember. Harpo. Oh, I thought it was Harpo. Okay. Okay. Sophia is the name. She didn't have a nickname. All right. Sophia. I don't remember that, but I would know. But these women, they know. Sophia doesn't have the same ring as Big Frida. But whenever I think of Big Frida, I think about Oprah in The Color Purple. Go ahead.
The name is Sophia, the nickname is Squeak.
Squeak. No, I don't remember none of that. They know. I don't know. Anyway, let's just stick with Big Frida. That's better. But The Color Purple, of course, is a woman's movie. They use the color purple because it's the color of that flower. And that's the same reason that the purple pigs use that color. And all they care about is how many of us is it? We feel strong today. That's an abomination to God. God was angered by it. And this is what the Lord did. Go ahead.
Therefore, he smote Israel.
The Lord killed Israel. Killed them. Now, how many numbers do you have? Do you understand IUIC? Now, how many numbers do you have? You care about numbers? Well, then let's work on that then. I pray you understand. Oro por tu entendimiento. We can work on that. It's no problem. Anything else? Next question.
Sir. Brother Makulat asked in the comments, Salakia Adawan, if I could, sir, Baba Shah, General question, sir. What's the difference between a man leading his woman versus controlling his woman?
Okay, I'm going to just give you, this is not a specific answer. I'm just going to give it to you based on the popular understanding of what the word control means, right? And leading means. The difference between leading your woman and controlling your woman, a brother who is leading his woman wants to follow. If a brother is controlling his woman, the woman does not want to do it, and she is physically afraid to disobey you. So she's being forced to do it. So the brother that leads his woman tells his woman what to do, and then his woman goes, that's my husband. He's right. I might not like it, but I'm deciding to do it. A woman who is being controlled by her husband beats her and smacks her, locks her up in the house, tells her she can't go around her family. If she goes around her family, he puts a tracking device in her car in the trunk. He slashes her tires. He locks her up in the house. He physically stops her from doing what she wants to do. A brother who controls his woman is not leading his woman. And here's what you have to understand. You're not controlling her either. You're doing nothing. She actually is controlling you. Because the minute that you say, I told you don't go out the house anymore. Now I'm taking your purse and stripping off your clothes and chaining you to the bed. And I'm beating you because I'm not letting you go out anymore. You're going to obey me, woman. The minute you're doing that, then she is going to call the police. And then you're going to stand in court and go, baby, tell him it ain't true. Tell him I never hit you. Baby, please tell him. Tell him, baby, don't press charges. Baby, don't go to court tomorrow. Baby, don't show up to court. And then she'll go, but are you going to change? Are you going to stop? I'm telling you, I'll never do it again. She controls you. She controls you. Hitting a woman means she controls you. And here's what you don't know about that dummy you married. She wants you to hit her so she can control you. She hopes you hit her. She's going to take pictures and send them to everybody. I wish I can go on my phone and look at my catalog of women you done hit. It's right here. I got it right here. They all send me the pictures after you beat the piss out of them. And I always go, oh, you sent me a picture. That's something. I know why she took the picture. She took the picture because this is what she's going to use to threaten you with prison so that she can control you. Because you don't have any control over yourself. A lot of you think leading a woman or being a man is about physically forcing a woman to obey you. You don't even understand women knocking. You don't have really self-control. You don't have any self-control. A woman disobeys you. What do? Lose it? You can't control yourself. She did something I told her not to do. Shut up. Big fucking baby. She did something you told her not to do. So what? Let her learn the hard way. What did Joab do? Joab said, listen, David, don't count the people. David decided to anyway. No sweat. Here's the number. I'll count them for you. Then God kills thousands of Israel. Now the numbers are of dead people. Now Joab's words have weight. Why don't you let your wife disobey you? Let her do it so that when God punishes her, your words can have weight. What do you think has weight? You're punching her, smacking her, tying her to the bed, beating the kids with extension cords and beating her and choking her and locking her up in the room or keying her car. Some of you niggas, I heard you flatten the tires and everything. Here you go. Well, I've heard what you do. And I go, I mean, your husband is just a big baby. He's a booty, throw a tantrum. You flatten the car. You take the you take the wheels off the car and everything. Take the steering wheel. The bitch try to leave. You go in there and take the steering wheel off the car so she can't go anywhere. Take her purse. And let me tell you something else you do that idiots do. Your wife doesn't want to give you her money. So you take all her money and force her to give you your entire paycheck. She doesn't want to do that. She hates doing that. And of course, you take all the money and blow it on your goddamn Bitcoin and farms and all of your stupid, idiotic, get rich quick schemes. And you're forcing her to give you her entire paycheck. Give me your entire paycheck. She don't want to do it. She hates doing it. and you take all the money and blow it, gracias, and blow it anyway. That's not leading a wife on. You're just forcing her to do things she doesn't want to do. That's the difference. You want to lead a woman, you tell her what to do. She decides whether she wants to follow. If she doesn't, Lord be with her. That's all. Maybe she's right. We'll see. You think you should do that instead of doing what I say? Hey, we'll find out soon. Whether or not, you don't want one day for your wife to come back to you and go, hello, I know you told me not to go, but click. I said click. You don't click anymore, but you know, yeah, you fix the problems that I told you not to get into. You fix them on your own, sweetness. Right? That's power. You understand? That's real power. Show your wife that God is leading you, so that when she disobeys you, her plan goes wrong. Your wife is never even going to find out that her plan is wrong because you don't let her do a wrong plan. Let her do something wrong. Say, listen, now you shouldn't go over your sister's house. She says, I'm going anyway. What do? You lock the bitch up in the bedroom and take her car and take her purse and strip her clothes down. What does she do? Call her mom. Oh, you take her phone too. I forgot about that. She go to try to call the cops. You snatch that phone out of her hand. She can't call the cops. I got her phone. She can't call her mom. The bitch crawl out the window, tell the neighbors. Okay. You never even give your wife the proof that if she goes to her sister's house, it's going to be a mistake. There's only one way to do that, and that's to let her go to her sister's house. Let her go over there. Tell her not to go. Say, baby, I'm telling you not to go. I'm your husband. I'm here to protect you. I'm telling you not to go. But that's my sister. I'll speak no further of this. I've given you my word. You go about your business. Oh, hello, can you come get me? Her boyfriend was tripping, and he did this, and he did, oh, beep. I'm at my other woman's house now, Dumpling. That's all I can do for you. You ain't gonna listen to nothing I just said anyway. So just cut that out the tape, because that meant nothing. And no one heard that. All right, let's go. Gracias.
Con, sir, real quick in the comments, Kai said, that's heavy, sir. Captain Kapash and I went to the Haiti border, just us two. They asked us to change clothes because we were too UPK militant.
Ain't that something? Give them a hand. Yeah, they was afraid of us. Numbers. Please. You're joking. You know, those purple pigs, before you know it, the purple pigs better thank the Lord that we're worried about us and how many of us it is, because the day that we decide that we care about how many of you it is, then there won't be no more of you. That's how it works. That's life. But because we don't give a damn about numbers, we don't care about that. And all we care about is making sure that every man in here belongs to God, regardless of how many of them it is. Everybody understands? All right, go ahead.
Quick question from Latazar out in Cali. John chapter 6, verse 14 through 15. If he knew they were going to force him to be a king, why did he depart?
You got to read it again. Understand?
Con. John chapter 6 and verse 14. Mm-hmm. Then those men, when they had seen the miracle that Jesus did, said, this is of a truth that prophet that should come into the world. Mm-hmm. Verse 15. When Jesus therefore perceived that they would come and take him by force to make him a king, he departed again into a mountain himself alone.
Because Jesus Christ did not want them to make him a king. That's why he left. Because he knew they were going to do it, and he knew that that was not his job. Jesus Christ said, knowest thou not that if I wanted, I could call 12 legions of angels from my Father which is in heaven. You would not be able to take me. Knowest thou not that if this was my kingdom, my disciples would fight? My disciples are not going to fight because this is not my kingdom. Jesus Christ didn't come to this filthy place to change it, to give it a new leader. Jesus Christ came to this place to destroy all the kingdoms of this world and to set up the nation of Israel. And that could not be done with common means or traditional means. That had to be done with his death. With his death is how he was going to destroy the kingdoms of this world and establish the kingdom of God. It wasn't going to be done because he went and built an army and went and got chariots and horses and became some king to now conquer Rome. That wouldn't have done it. That's the kind of thing that Satan offered him. Remember, Satan said, if you kneel before me, I will give you the glory of all the kingdoms of this world. Well, how does Satan give you the kingdom? By giving you armies and money and chariots to go fight and take over the world. The same way he gave the white man his ability to kill, to take over this world. How does God give you the world? By you having sole focus on getting God's help. That's what Jesus Christ did by giving his life for us. That's how he was going to become a king, and not a king, but the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings. And that could only be done by him dying. That was how he won. Remember, when they arrested him, he said, now is the prince of this world cast out. That's how he won. He didn't win because he went and got chariots and destroyed Rome. He did not break a bruised reed. He didn't harm anyone. He didn't do anything harmful to anyone at all. He became the Lord of Lords and the King of Kings by allowing himself to be harmed. That's why he left and didn't let them make him a king. Anything else? Algo más.
Wow, sir, that's all. Brother in the comments, the Waya Allah says, Salaki, sir, if I may, with your grace, my Lord,
please.
Can I get a general breakdown of Hebrews 12:1?
Absolutely, brother. That was a question asked with much grace and sophistication. And I appreciate it and I'm humbled by it. Go ahead.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which doeth so easily beset us.
Let me explain. Where are we at again?
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1.
When he says we are, read that first part. Read one verse above it, please.
Verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with
one verse above that, please.
Oh, this is the first verse.
That's the first verse. My apologies. Read the last verse of the last chapter, please.
All right, come on. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 40. God having provided some better thing for us, that they without us should not be made perfect.
Keep going. I need to catch up with you. Where you at?
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1.
Hebrews 12. Hebrews 12:1. And we okay, I got you. Hold on. Okay, he wants me to break this down, just this verse. Is that right, Ephraim?
Con, sir.
Okay,
Just
go ahead and
verse.
read it. Hebrews 12:1.
Con. Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin
So
which.
I need to read the verse of the verse before it. Hebrews. Let me hear Hebrews 11. Let me go to it fast. Stand by 1 second, everyone.
Con, sir.
Hebrews 11, the last chapter in 11. Hold on. Go ahead, Warren.
We got the Passover coming up April 12th. Make sure you go to isupk.com and pay your Passover fee.
Did we get him on camera?
Most high, we did not, sir.
Let's get him. Do one more time, Levi, on camera.
Most High in Christ. Shalom, Israel. We got the high holy days that's coming up April 12th in Atlanta. Make sure you go to isupk.com and pay your Passover fee. All right. We have a list of activities that we're going to be doing from Wednesday all the way through Sunday. That $200 is nothing. All right. Make sure you go to isupk.com and pay your Passover fee. Do it 2 weeks ago, like General Muhammad said. Most High in Christ.
All right, let's get it on. I think I got it. I think I'll just read the 12, Hebrews 12 and 1 now, right? Go ahead.
Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of
The
witnesses.
compassed about with a great cloud of witnesses is talking about all of the people in the world who watch what we're doing. Seeing that we have a cloud, we're compassed, meaning all around us like a cloud are so many people watching us. They want to see whether or not are we sinners, are we righteous, are we unrighteous? Everyone is looking at us. And since we know that everyone is looking at us, keep going.
Come on, let us lay aside every weight.
Let us lay aside every weight. Meaning, because we know that that if we fail, if we fall, if we stumble, if we go to the coochie fritos and slip back into the world, if you start smoking weed again, if you start smoking cigarettes again, if you're some stinking alcoholic, everyone who's looking at you will go, oh, I guess the UPK doesn't change men. Oh, I guess this school did not have a positive effect on you. I look at you, you're dressing up like some UPK person, but you're still doing the things that you were doing in the world. Now I don't have to respect or honor God because of your poor example. We are compassed with a cloud of witnesses. So we better put down these weights that we carry around with us, that you've been carrying around your entire life. All of the problem of your childhood, every evil thing your mother and your father taught you, your past sexual traumas, the reasons that became excuses to you to continue in sin. Well, if you sin now, there's a witness that will see it. Someone is going to see it. Someone is going to notice it. And you're going to shame the Lord God of Israel and cause unbelievers to blaspheme the name of God. That's in the Bible. Your sin has caused unbelievers to blaspheme the name of God. They're going to do it because of you, because they saw what you did. Continue.
Come. And the sin which do it so easily.
And the sin which you do so easily. So easily. What are these sins you commit? You smoke weed, you dip back into smoking weed, or you with those stupid pills and all of your jellies and candies filled with weed, your beer filled, everything in your life filled. You rub weed lotion all over your goddamn hands and knees. You're just a drug addict and you're disgusting. You need to put that weight down of being an addict. Long enough, you've carried it. Put it away. People are going to watch you go into the dispensary and get weed candy and weed lotion and weed foot pads and weed everything. Put it down. Put that weed away. People are watching. Continue.
Beseech us.
Babies, meaning they're everywhere. These sins are chasing us. These sins are running after us so that we can shame the one true God of Israel. Continue.
Come. And let us run with patience the race that is set before us.
Let us run with patience the race that is set before us. It's hard to endure until Jesus Christ returns. It's hard. You wish he could return at your peak strength, right? You know, there's a time in the truth when you're strong. You know, usually it's when you first come in, or isn't that time when you are just zealous and you just came in and you just defeated, you know, some of your demons, and now it's like, man, I'm in the truth. I don't smoke weed anymore. I'm not an alcoholic anymore. I'm new and I'm straight. Boy, Christ got to come back in the next 2 weeks. he better hurry up and come back while I'm strong, while I got my strength. The problem is he doesn't come back then. He doesn't come back when you are at your peak of strength, zealous. He waits. He tarries in his coming. That's what the Bible says. My Lord tarried in his coming. And there were certain foolish brides who did not bring enough oil to wait. They were foolish. They weren't prepared to wait. If only Christ could come in the truth right when you were fresh and young. But he doesn't. What happens over time? Life happens over time. Before you know it, you come and you all zealous talking to your wife and your kids about the truth and bringing in the truth. I'm in the truth now. Before you know it, you're going to those same kids saying, I'm leaving the truth. Ephraim, I've thought about that for years, right? I have never talked to anyone that does this because I don't talk to people once they leave the truth, even if they come back. You should not come to talk to me. All right, that's a mistake. All right, all I'm going to do is shine you on and act like I'm listening when I'm not listening. Everybody understands, right? Once you leave the truth, even if you come back, don't come talk to me. But there are brothers that it's their job to talk to you, and that's who you should talk to. Everyone understands, right? So now, I've never understood this. You got your kids, you bring them into the truth, right? You bring them into the truth. You tell your kids you're in the truth. We're giving up Christmas. We're giving up this. I'm in the UPK. This is great. You put a UPK head wrap around your kid. Put a little UPK headband on him. And then one day you tell the kid, what do you tell the kid? Yeah, we're not doing that anymore. We're celebrating Christmas again. Yeah, we're not in the UPK anymore. I don't do that anymore. I know the kid must be like, what? What? I don't understand. You told me I had to be in the truth. You told me I had to give up Christmas. You told me I was the UPK. You're putting fringes on all my baby clothes. What happened? And I think the parent doesn't even, because you don't look at children like they're people. I think you just go, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. We done with that. Listen, now we celebrating Christmas again, everybody. Now we back. I would love to know, how do you explain, you brothers and sisters out there had left the truth, right? And you brought your child into the truth. Tell me how you broke it to them that you're going to switch and change their life again. Like, how'd you tell them? Somebody type it in anonymously in the chat. Why can't you just tell us? Because I couldn't imagine me going to my son going, listen, we ain't celebrating New Year's Eve, Halloween. You're not getting any more Halloween candy. You ain't getting no more Christmas gifts. We ain't celebrating birthdays anymore. Put fringes on your baby clothes. Put shields on your clothes. Put headbands on. We in the truth. The child goes, damn, this is strange, but okay, I guess. Then the child starts to like it. The child starts to feel strong and feel like, yeah, I'm an Israelite. And then all of a sudden you come home, yeah, we're not doing that anymore. We out of that. And the child sits there. I wonder if you even tell the child. I wonder if you just stop and you just start smoking. I wonder if the child just sees you smoking again and he puts it together for himself or herself. Type in the chat and tell me, how did you break it to your child that you were switching and flipping their life upside down again? How did you do that? Also, for you sisters out there, that's why you should thank the Lord if you have a husband and he's a stepfather, because that's exactly what stepfathers go through. That same thing. If you're a stepfather, what I'm describing, you're going to go through that thing. He's going to say, listen, this is Ephraim. He's your new daddy. Call him dad. He's your dad now. We love him. He's part of this family. He's going to babysit you, and you're going to call him dad. All of a sudden, yeah, Jimmy ain't coming over here no more. Jimmy, you mean dad? You mean the man dad that I was calling dad for a year? I wonder if the mother even tells the child. I wonder if the child just looks up and there's a new daddy, a new stepdad around. You brothers who are stepdads, you're going to go through that. That's what happens. And you begin to get attached to the child because the child is calling you dad. And you begin to think of that child like that's your child until one day the mom changes her mind and she rips the child out of your life. I would love to talk to someone that does this so I could understand it. Then I don't want to talk to you again. Anything else? Next question.
Count out of one, count. So like you serve Milwaukee has a question.
Mm-hmm.
Shalom, General, can you hear me?
Shabbat.
Hey, Shabbat, my Lord. If you could, out of one, Baba Kashaf, if you could grace me with your wisdom. I need a breakdown Isaiah chapter 42, verses 1 through 5, if you don't mind.
Please, no problem, Bori. I'll absolutely help you in any way I can. Please, go ahead.
101 concert. It's the book of Isaiah chapter 42, verse 1. Mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth. I have put my spirit upon him. and he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. Verse 2.
I'm sorry,
He
you want me
shall not.
down? What's your question in specific?
So I can serve you just a general breakdown of verses 1 through 5, if you don't mind, sir.
Please go ahead.
Kind of one concept.
Where are we again, please?
Verse 2.
I'll do the topic, Levi. Ephraim. Go ahead. Where are we at again, Art?
Going into verse 2 of Isaiah chapter 42.
Isaiah 42.
Kind of one concept.
All right. Isaiah 42 and 2, right?
Kind of one con.
All right, go ahead.
Kind of one con. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the streets.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 3. A bruised reed shall he not break.
This is a prophecy about Jesus Christ. You want to read 42 and 1, all right?
Kind of one con. The book of Isaiah chapter 42 and verse 1. Behold my servant, whom I uphold, mine elect, in whom my soul delighteth.
Mm-hmm.
I have put my spirit upon him, and so like it, he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles.
What does that mean when it says he shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles? Two things. That Christ was going to come and finally give the oppressor, our oppressors, the punishment that they deserve, and to rescue the Gentiles of Israel from out of their control. That's judgment to the Gentiles. Judgment to the Gentiles is destroying the people that kidnapped you and then called you by their name. They destroyed your homeland, took you into their house, and then changed your name and gave you their name as your own. That's judgment to the Gentiles, delivering you from their hand and giving them the punishment for what they've done to you. That's what Jesus Christ is going to make happen. He's going to fulfill that. Not one jot or one tittle shall be removed from the law until all be fulfilled. He shall fulfill the law and the prophets. Jesus Christ is going to make Isaiah 42 and 1 happen. Keep going.
Kind of one concept. Verse 2. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his
voice. Was not going to speak on the streets. You know that's not true, because Jesus Christ absolutely spoke on the streets. He absolutely spoke, which is why they killed him, because they hated the things that he said when he was speaking. That's not talking about that. This cry out or speak up is talking about calling for violence. That's what that means. He will not rise up or cry out, meaning he will not say, kill them, get your gun. He won't do what the Black Panthers did. He won't do what the Muslims did. He won't do what Osama bin Laden or what Donald Trump does or what the Proud Boys do. He won't do that. He won't do that. He's not going to raise up everyone for violence. That's the kind of person you would follow, right? You would follow men like Barabbas, who went and told everyone, take up arms and kill them all. Take them up. When those cats like that, they work for the white man anyway. There was some, Captain Azaniah did some event. Give Captain Azaniah a hand. Captain, who asked this question? Milwaukee. Captain Azaniah out of upstate New York. He did an event at Adam Clayton Powell's Plaza in Harlem, right? And it was some black, some type of black activist. And he's the one that invited us to come to the event. So, of course, Captain Azaniah and some of the brothers from Harlem went down to the event, and they gave the word of God in this event. Then all of a sudden, the cops came. When the cops came, the activist, the one who invited us, said, come on, UPK, let's fight the cops. Let's go and start beating up the cops. Azaniah said, man, I told you that committing crime is what cops want us to do. You're never going to save black people by committing crime. That's not, what in the hell are you talking about? If we're all in jail, then we're not going to save the lives of our people. I won't even be at this event next year if I commit violence this year. then we're not here again. He said, that's what the white man wants us to do. The brother got so angry at us because we did not beat the cops up last Saturday. Your brother, y'all know about this? Who went? Who went in the room? You know Levi. Do you know about this, Levi? Oh, yeah. He was angry at us because he expected us to come and beat up all the cops. That's why we were there in his mind. He thought we were going to come and just beat the piss out of the cops out there in Harlem. After the event was over, he called Azaniah and said, I'm upset with y'all. I thought y'all was going to beat the cops up. I brung y'all out there to beat the cops up. Azaniah said, what in the hell are you talking about? It's not what. Are you out of your effing mind? I told General Hazayan, that brother works for the cops.
Right.
He works for the cops. The police sent him to go get us and tell us, come on, fight the cops, beat the cops. I asked Hazayan, who was the general they answered to. I said, did the brother fight the cops? He said, no. So you telling me he's telling us to go beat the shit out of the cops? He didn't? No, he didn't. Am I right, Levi? You were there. Did he go over there and punch anybody? No. But what did he tell us to do? Go fight the cops. So he could sit back and in court he go, I saw the whole thing. He's a agent provocateur. That's what they called them back in the 60s. That's how the Black Panthers ended. Because the Black Panther, the FBI would send some Jake into the Black Panthers and say, let's get some guns and kill all of them. And then they would go, yeah. And he'd go, I saw the whole thing, FBI. I was right there. That's the one that gave him the guns. Him. Whoever that cat is, Levi, he is an agent. I told Haas, don't ever go around him again. Don't call him again. Nothing. We're not stupid in here, where the cops send some idiot in here to tell all of us to commit some crime that even he's not going to do. And he expects us to do it because they expect to end us the way they ended the Black Panthers. You see, that was a movement, the Black Panthers, the Black Muslims, the Malcolm X's movement, Marcus Garvey's movement. Those are all movements. This is not a movement. That's not what these are. Movements end. Just like moving ends, right? It's a movement. It's moving, then it stops. That's what movements do. This is not a movement, brother. What you are is the disciples of Christ from the past, doing what you have always done. This is we are a nation of people who have leaders. In the Israelite school of UK, we train those leaders. We're not some Black radical or Hispanic radical movement that the FBI can end simply by sending some nut in here that talks us all into rising up, crying out, and telling everyone to fight the white man. That's not what we do. That's not what Jesus Christ did, which is what we're reading about right now. Continue.
Turn to one concert. Verse 3. A bruised reed shall he not break.
You hear that? A bruised reed. You know what a reed is? A reed is a thin, hollow piece of grass. It's thick. You've seen them if you've ever gone around a lake. There's these things called reeds, and they grow up around marsh areas or watery areas, and they're thick, and they grow up out the ground, but they're hollow, and they're called reeds. Imagine a bruised reed, meaning this reed is half broken. It's like this. Jesus Christ would not break that bruised reed. He wouldn't harm anyone. In the UPK, we don't harm anyone, brother. We don't harm white people who we hate. And we don't harm them. We don't hurt them. As a matter of fact, we feed them on our food programs, and we help them. And when they kiss our boots, we reward them with kindness and encouragement. We don't do anything wrong to white people at all. We don't harm anyone. We wouldn't break a reed that was halfway broken already. We still wouldn't do it because Jesus Christ would not do it. Continue.
Turn to one come. And the smoking flax shall he not quench.
A smoking flax is a corn silk. If you've ever had a piece of corn, you rip, a fresh piece of corn, you rip the green part off. That silky part inside of corn is flax, right? There's some wheat that also has flax. Imagine flax that is smoking, which means what about that flax? If the flax is smoking, what does that mean about the flax? Milwaukee, right? Is that who asked the question? Milwaukee, if flax was smoking, then the flax is what?
Salak, yes, sir. No good.
If it's smoking, there's only one way something can smoke.
Salak, if it's smoking, that means it's burning.
It's burning. How do you put out a fire if something is burning?
Salak, water.
What's another way to put it out?
Fire is crazy.
Well, this is 2,000 years ago, so they didn't have that. Just imagine you're going on a camping trip. You're on a camping trip, you see grass on fire. You can either pour water on it if you have it, or you could do what? Let him try.
Salak, yes, sir. Put a lot more grass on it.
A lot more grass is going to be a lot more burning.
Salak,
huh? I'll tell you, warrior. You take your foot and you step on it. Stomp it out. You see it's fire. Oh, God damn, it's on fire. Shit, it's on fire. You stomp it out. You understand, Milwaukee? Jesus Christ would not stomp out a fire. That's how peaceful he is. Do you understand, Milwaukee?
Sir.
That's us in the UPK out. We don't harm anyone. I know we look terrifying. I know that. The brothers called me from South Carolina this week. They went down to go to court. A brother in the school he has to go do a little time in prison. That's normal in here. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you got to go to jail, young brothers. Everybody understands? That's why we don't run from the cops. We don't resist arrest. If you got to go to jail, you just go. That's all. Just go and do your time. Do your time like an effing man. Don't run and jump out your window in your drawers from the cops. Don't resist arrest. Sometimes because of something you did in the world, sometimes you got to go to jail. That happens. What do you think we're training you for? For you to be some punk who can't do a little time in jail? You can't go to jail? What are you going to do? Snitch on every goddamn body, lie and steal and run outside in your drawers, all to not do 30 days in jail? That's not One West stop. If you ain't ready to go to jail, start training. So that if you have to go to jail, you can go in there like a goddamn man and not go in there like a punk and paint nails the whole time you're in there. Well, this brother in South Carolina, he got to do some time in jail. He went down there to do his time in jail. That's all. He gonna go to jail. Well, the brothers in South Carolina, the brothers down there, the Natazah Hawk and Natazah Yahawah, they went down there to go with him to the trial, right? And as they're in the courtroom, they're telling the lawyer, listen, we're here to speak up for our brother. We want to speak for him. And we want to be able to let the judge know how much he has changed his life since he came into the truth. The lawyer said, I'd advise against it. The lawyer told them he did not want them to speak. And the brother who was going to jail said, damn, I want my brothers to speak for me. The lawyer said, your brothers are too scary looking. They look like a biker gang. And the lawyer said, I do not want them to speak. So they called me about it. Now, the brother was going to go to jail anyway. He made a deal to go do his time, which was right. So there was no reason for the brothers to speak. And some judges absolutely will be prejudiced against you for the way you look, because we look scary to people. And so I said I would take the lawyer's advice, since speaking cannot help him because he's already made a deal to go to jail. There's no reason to do it. All right. We look terrifying, but we are far more peaceful than Christians are. Far more. These Christians are going to molest your children, rape your wife, sell drugs to your woman, sell drugs to your sons, steal from you, rob you, and get you set up for murder. We will not do any of those things, but we look like we would when we would never do that. That's what Jesus Christ went through. And because of that, you have to have precepts like this where they have to explain he's not going to tell anyone to kill anybody. He's not going to break a reed that's halfway broken, he won't even step on a fire to put it out. That's what they had to do in the Bible, because Jesus Christ seemed like he would kill everyone. That's what he seemed like. His words and his vibe and the way he acted was terrifying to people. They thought he was dangerous, far more dangerous than he is. I pray you understand. Go into this. All right, let's go. Is that it? Is that it, Milwaukee?
Yes, sir. A little bit left on that verse and about 2 more if you don't mind, sir.
Go ahead.
The end of verse 3. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth.
You get that, I pray. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. Now we're going to finally get some truth in what happened to us and who destroyed us and who is guilty and has not been punished. He's going to bring judgment to truth. That's a terrible burden to try to do, a thing to try to carry out, because no one wants to know the truth. Because if they accepted the truth, our oppressor would have to be destroyed. He would have to be destroyed for the captives to go free. El opresor es el diablo de la Santa Biblia.
That's right. That's right.
Keep going.
Verse 4. He shall not fail nor be discouraged.
You understand that? He's not going to fail. Jesus Christ, brother, is the most hardcore gangster soldier that has ever existed. All of us are just attempting to follow his lead. We're just trying. Oh, he's a soldier. He will not fail. You get an order in this school, brother. There's some brothers that get orders in this school, and they have no problem with failing. None. A lot of you get your head anointed with oil, and you don't have any problem with failing the oath that you took. And then one day you're going to hang in my graveyard right here. Show them my graveyard up here. Show my graveyard. This is my favorite part of the whole school. Can you show it to them? This is the graveyard. A lot of these brothers, I sent them up here. I love looking at them sometimes. You see? Can you see that? That's my grave. They're like ghosts, Doc, hanging in the sky. Ghosts. I look at them. I think, how many of them did I send up there? How many? How many? I put my son's cover up there. It's hanging right up there. But my son left the truth, and I went and said, do whatever you want, but hand me your cover before you go. I hung his cover up. I know that I don't fail in my orders. I don't fail. I wouldn't fail for my child, for my wife, for my life, for nothing. And the men who I've sent up here, Rock, I perform my oath in doing that. Maybe I'll get to perform my oath in you. Maybe one day. That's Jesus Christ, though. He gets an order, he carries it out. He's doing it. That's that. No matter what he has to sacrifice, no matter what it costs, he's doing it. He will not fail, and he will not be discouraged. Oh, think about what discourages you. What you do, lose a bitch? Huh? Did she leave you? Is that what happened? Boy, you're the first person to ever get left. You mean you lost your woman? Is that why you leaving the truth? Because you lost your woman. Oh, you're the first person that ever went through that. Yeah, that's reason to leave the school. That's reason to break your oath. You lost a woman who wasn't yours anyway. Your main bitch is someone's side bitch. That's what's happening. That's what's always been happening your entire life. But the minute you're in the truth and she leaves you, now this hardship is worthy of you breaking your oath. You're nothing like Jesus Christ. That's all I could tell you. You're nothing like him, who went through every loss, carried every burden, took on every injustice and indignity, and he carried out his mission unto death. That's who he is. Keep going.
Till he have set judgment in the earth.
Until he has done what?
Until he has set judgment in the earth.
Yeah, he's going to do it until that happens, because that's what he came here for. Keep going.
And the isles
shall wait for his laws.
And the what?
And the isles shall wait for his laws.
Did you say wait?
Kind of the one concert.
W-A-I-T?
Kind of the one concert.
Yeah, the Isles. Who's in the Isles? Puerto Rico, the South America, all of the islands of this world. Europe is an island. Why? Because the children of Israel, las 12 tribus de las nación de Israel, the lost tribes of the nation of Israel, they're on the islands now. They're scattered everywhere. And they're waiting for Jesus Christ to rule the world. They're waiting on islands all over the planet Earth, waiting for Jesus Christ to rule. They're waiting for him. And he's their only hope. He's their only hope. And he knows that. And that's why he can't allow himself to get discouraged the way you get discouraged over everything and anything that happens to you. Your life has to be perfect, doesn't it? You can't have a hardship. You cannot get your way, you big baby. Everything you have to have it your way. Some of you stinking brothers trying to be troopers, you can't shut your mouth until you have to talk, thing to say. You have nothing to add to the conversation or the world at all. You think you do. But the minute someone tells you you have to be quiet, that's trouble enough for you. The minute you lose your job, ever since I came into the truth, things have been going bad for me. They're supposed to go bad for you. What do you think happened to Jesus Christ when he started his mission? He went and had a party every goddamn night. I wish there was less people in the school. What it is, I would like 25% of you to leave the truth. Now that's just I wish. You know, Johanna is not going to like that. But if 25% of you could leave, then I could talk about you in class freely and say your name like I would like to. Then I would be happy. But my happiness is, of course, not what's most important. What's most important is giving Commanding General Johanna what he wants, which is what I'm here. Everyone understands.
Go
ahead.
Concert. Verse 5. Thus saith God, the Most High, he that created the heavens and stretched them out.
You get that, don't you?
He that,
Come on, Warrior. Was that it?
Concert.
Am I missing something? Was there anything else?
End of this verse, sir.
Please.
He that spread forth the earth and that which cometh out of it, he that giveth breath unto the people upon it, and the spirit of them that walk therein.
I believe you understand that. Am I incorrect?
Concert.
Okay, good to go. All right. We good here? We good here or not?
The water, sir.
Gracias. Please.
We got some crackers and some chicken salad. That was one by Trooper right there.
The water trooper. Give him a hand. Well done.
And then,
all right.
Officer Yadzar, you had a question?
I do have a question.
We better get into the topic now, right? Do we have time?
Count.
All right, go ahead. We try to rock it out. You got to be brief.
Real quick, Adawan, if I may.
Rock it out, all right? Go ahead.
If I may, sir. The return of Donald Trump into power, is it biblical, and does it have a prophetic meaning?
It absolutely is biblical. Give it to me in the Psalms. Give me, let Satan sit at his right hand. That's in the Psalms. Psalms 109, I'm probably wrong, but it's let Satan sit at his right hand. 109 and 5, Levi, whenever you're ready. Donald Trump is absolutely in the scriptures. Also, you can go to this scripture in the book of Exodus. The Bible says that there was a time in Egypt, you know, the Israelites went into Egypt, walked into Egypt, and they grew in Egypt and became a mighty nation in Egypt. But then there rose up a Pharaoh in Egypt that did not know Joseph. That's in the Bible. Joseph was the man who was in Egypt working giving Egypt the benefit of God's blessing in Egypt. Told Egypt about a famine that was going to happen for 7 years. So Egypt prepared 7 years before the famine by storing up food. Because Egypt had food while the rest of the planet was starving, Egypt used that food to control the planet Earth. They used that food because while everyone was starving, Egypt had storehouses of food to give to their allies and to make those allies serve them, to make new allies with people who used to be enemies, but now they're starving. And now if you give them food, they serve you. Egypt did that for 7 years because Joseph was in Egypt, who was the father of the Puerto Ricans. He was in Egypt and he saved Egypt from famine and made Egypt the #1 superpower on the planet. Then a pharaoh rose up over Egypt. They did not know Joseph. They didn't care about how much Joseph helped Egypt. They didn't care about all of the strides and all of the conquest that happened simply because the Puerto Ricans were in Egypt helping Egypt thrive. This pharaoh didn't care. He didn't know Joseph. And he began to oppress the Israelites more. And he put hard burdens on them and put taskmasters over them. That is a Donald Trump precept. Because Donald Trump, although blacks and Hispanics have invented everything in your room. Let me tell you what life was like before blacks and Hispanics became integrated into America. Right now, give me the leading causes of death in the 1800s. Right now, from the time of slavery on to today, blacks and Hispanics have been integrated into America. Now, we're in the military. We're in the police force. We're in the medical field. We're in government. We're mayors. We're congressmen. We're part of the leadership of this country. And all while we made these strides, white people were looking at us getting more and more angry every day. With every achievement that blacks and Hispanics have made, it made white people more angry. And we had no idea that was happening. We're having Black History Month. And we're thinking, let me tell you, white people, my white friends out there, you know what black people think about Black History Month? Who wants to tell white people what we've always thought about Black History Month while we were in the world? Black History Month to black people is the shortest month of the year, and it means nothing to us because we get nothing. Nothing happens. It's the shortest month of the year, and they're going to play Schindler's List on TV once a day during Black History Month. Black people don't think that Black History Month is an achievement. We don't think it's something that we love. But you know what I never considered? Every February, white people have been sitting home angry as hell that it is Black History Month. I never even considered that. All I thought was, who cares about Black History Month? It's the shortest month of the year. Schindler's List is on TV every damn year. All you're going to learn about is about Martin Luther King every damn year anyway. I didn't know that white people were sitting home gritting their teeth, angry about it. Angry. 10% of professionals in America are black. 10%. 10% lawyers, 10% doctors. You know what I think? I think there's no black lawyers, there's no black doctors. I think there's not enough of us who are doctors and lawyers. Do you know what white people have been thinking this whole time? It is too many goddamn black lawyers. There's too many black doctors. There is how many black people work at Fortune 500 companies? 3%? How many Hispanics are in the military or have high positions in jobs? 3%? When I hear that number, I think that's a small number. Do you know what white people have been thinking? That is too many goddamn spics in high positions. The whole time we're making achievements, striving for every inch, being mad because we can't do more and we can't have more success. That whole time, white people have been looking at us angry at every inch we earn, angry at every achievement that we make, no matter how small it is. Then someone rose up over America that doesn't care about Benjamin Banneker and Frederick Douglass and Martin Luther King and slavery and how you propped up America, doesn't care about the Tuskegee Airmen, doesn't want you to even learn about them, doesn't care about your achievements, that if you didn't make them here, America would not be the greatest country on earth without Hispanics, without black people. There's a president that doesn't care about what you've done for America, and now he's in charge. That happened in Egypt. There rose up a pharaoh over Egypt that did not know Joseph. White people out there listening, my white friends, let me tell you what life was like before integration, before DEI. Give me the leading cause of death in America in the 1800s. Put it up on the screen, please. Nice and big. Nice and big. I went back to the 18. That's before, this is during the time of slavery, before integration, before the civil rights movement, before then. Do you have it? Can I see the top? Or let's read it to me at least.
Sir, in 1800s,
Whenever you're ready.
In 1800s America,
Nice
the
and
leading
loud.
causes of death were infectious diseases, childbirth, and starvation.
What's the leading cause of death today? Heart disease and car crashes. Do you know what the leading cause of death was in America before blacks and Hispanics were given rights? Starving to death. Starving to death. Smallpox. Disease. Give me the list again.
Infectious diseases.
What is infectious disease? Who knows? Microphone.
So like your transmittable diseases?
Yeah, give me some transmittable diseases.
Um,
Polio,
flu,
smallpox,
flu,
the flu, COVID-19, scarlet fever, the bubonic plague. You know what happened before black people brung vaccinations here? Vaccinations, that is a black invention. It happened in Boston during slavery. A man named Onassis, a slave, taught his slave master how to vaccinate. It was during a smallpox epidemic in Massachusetts. The slave master, all the white people were dying of smallpox. He went into the slave quarters and saw how smallpox was not killing the slaves. And he was like, what in the hell is happening here? But there was a slick, and Onassis was famous for being slick. He was slick. He went into the slave master and said, I can help you if you white folks don't want to die like the way you die. This is what we're doing in the slave quarters. We're taking someone that has smallpox and we're putting a little tiny bit of it under their skin. So they get sick a little, but they don't get sick a lot. And they build up an immunity to smallpox. The slave master said, you are out of your goddamn mind. He couldn't believe it. He went and started doing it in his family. He went and told the newspaper about it. He said, these slaves have, give me his name, Onassis, who invented a smallpox vaccination. The white newspaper heard about it. Guess what the newspaper said? This is slave Negro witchcraft. That's what they called it. It was in the Boston Herald. Slave Negro magic. And we're not going to do it. That's what they said. It got so popular, the doctors got a hold of it, and smallpox stopped being the leading cause of death in America. It was the leading cause of death in America. What's his name?
Onesimus.
Onesimus. Give him a hand. Onesimus. Yeah. That's what life would be like without black people here, without us being doctors. You know what life is like without us being pilots, don't you? I don't got to teach you that, do I? You're going to walk outside, a plane hit your ass right on the head, and then you're going to know what life is like when black people and Hispanics are not pilots. I'm good to go. Water for you. Gracias. Go ahead. Everybody understands? Give me the other cause of death. You got infectious disease. What else do you have?
Childbirth.
Childbirth. What else happened? You know, it was a leading cause of death. You died in childbirth. That's what happened. You just died when you were having a baby. You died. The woman died. The baby died. Everyone died. That was a leading cause of death here. A leading cause of death. And then what did black people start to do? Take care of white women. That's what happened. Black women began to be nursemaids to white women, care for white women, suckle their children. White black women would go to the childbirth and teach the white woman how to deliver a breech baby, and give this white woman her kindness, her care, and her intelligence. Black women saved the lives of white women. Before that, white women just died in childbirth until black women, Big Mama, came in the house. And Aunt Shemima, Aunt Your Mama, some big black woman who loved the children more than the mother did. She came into the house and took care of the kids. Made sure this white woman got through this childbirth. Taught her what to do. That's what happens when we're not around. White women will die in childbirth. White people will be dead of smallpox without blacks and Hispanics. Give me the last leading cause of death, not the cause of some deaths. This is why most people died. What was the last one?
Starvation.
What was the last one?
Starvation.
What was the last one?
Starvation.
Now you have a president that is destroying the farms in America. Donald Trump is deporting the people who make sure you don't starve to death. Do you know what happened before Hispanics were in the fields, brothers? You starved to death in America. That's how you died. You starved. Do you know they had, during World War II, they had programs, lunches and food programs, because when they went to go enlist people, when people went to go get drafted, the main reason that they couldn't have enough soldiers for drafting is malnourishment. Soldiers couldn't, you try to draft during the draft for World War II, white people were so malnourished that they had to have programs to get their weight up. Now you have an obesity problem in America. How did it go from starving to obesity? La raza. That's what happened. Hispanics. Hispanics are how America went from starving to death to obesity. Now you have a president that wants you to go back to starving to death. Donald Trump is creating a government where all three of these things happen again. He's getting rid of vaccinations that come from black people. He's getting rid of black people being the healthcare providers, the doctors, the lawyers that save America. And he's destroying the agricultural business by deporting the people who feed you. This is how America will be great again. This is it. This is coming back. This is all coming back again. You're going to have people starving to death now because there's nothing in the supermarkets anymore. Because the bird flu has now taken over. Have you heard about the bird flu? Guess what happened this week? The bird flu, which is why the price of eggs is so high, because all of the birds had the bird flu and they had to kill them all. So there's so few chickens. This week they found bird flu in cows. This week in cows. So now you're getting rid of all of the Mexicans and Hispanics that work in the fields. And God is going to kill all of the birds and the cows with a infectious disease. And Donald Trump hates vaccinations, so that's going to kill us all too when we all get the bird flu, just like we all got the swine flu in 1900s and died. That's what's going to happen. This is the America that you wanted. You wanted this. You know why? Because the only thing you care about is white supremacy. You don't care if you die getting it. You don't even care. Yeah, it's in the Bible. It's a Pharaoh that rose up over Egypt that did not know Joseph, and he began to oppress the people. Now give me the other Donald Trump precept.
The book of Psalms, chapter 109, verse 6. Set thou a wicked man over him.
Do what?
Set thou a wicked man over him.
David said, Lord, set a wicked man over him. Let a wicked man rule him. Set a wicked man over him. Now you have an absolutely terrible person in the White House. And do what else?
And let Satan stand at his right hand.
And let Satan stand at his right hand. That's Donald Trump. That's him. He's a despicable person, a sexual assaulter, a rapist, a felon. He's the president now. And he's looking to turn back the clock to the 1800s. He wants this to happen again. These numbers aren't white numbers. Are y'all understanding that? I didn't ask the Google what was the leading cause of death of black people or Hispanics. This is the leading cause of death of white people. Disease, childbirth death, and starving. That's how white people die. Donald Trump is going to kill a lot of white people. And white people are not going to care, because all white people care about is being felt, is the feeling of white supremacy. And he's going to kill a lot of white people up. And David asked the Lord to do it. David said, set a wicked man over them and let Satan sit at thy right hand. White people, you're going to get what you want. You don't have to be sitting there all mad because black people had 28 days of talking about Frederick Douglass. You don't got to sit and be mad about that anymore. I know it made you so angry that black people were the supervisors in the warehouse. I know you could not stand that. That's over. Now you're going to starve to death and die of disease. Brakatha Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Give them a hand. Thank the Lord. You know what'll happen in the end? They'll say, black people, could you please become doctors? Could you please be our supervisors? Could you please pick our fruits? In the end, they'll beg us. They'll beg us to integrate with them. You got it, Levi, right? Anything else?
Sir, we
Any
can,
time at all?
we can keep going in
Let's go. Sir. Let's do what we can, all right? Let me know when we have to stop across the line, all right?
Come.
Go ahead.
So on that note, Donald Trump attempted to use tariffs this week.
Somebody, if you could, Ephraim, break down tariffs for everyone.
Basically, it's a
camera,
fee
please, on Ephraim.
So
Go ahead.
It's funny, they had one of these Edomite comedians interviewing Trump supporters on the street this week and catching them in not realizing that tariffs are something that Americans would pay.
Mm-hmm.
As an importer, you would have to pay a fee on items that you're importing from certain countries.
Mm-hmm.
Supposed to make American products more competitive.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have a clip of Ronald Reagan, the supposed idol of all conservatives,
Mm-hmm.
talking about how tariffs are counterproductive and harm America.
Please.
Select.
You see, at first, when someone says, let's impose tariffs on foreign imports, it looks like they're doing the patriotic thing by protecting American products and jobs. And sometimes for a short while it works, but only for a short time. What eventually occurs is, first, homegrown industries start relying on government protection in the form of high tariffs. They stop competing and stop making the innovative management and technological changes they need to succeed in world markets. And then, while all this is going on, something even worse occurs. High tariffs inevitably lead to retaliation by foreign countries and the triggering of fierce trade wars. The result is more and more tariffs, higher and higher trade barriers, and less competition. So soon, because of the prices made artificially high by tariffs that subsidize inefficiency and poor management, people stop buying. Then the worst happens. Markets shrink and collapse, businesses and industries shut down, and millions of people lose their jobs.
Stop.
The memory of all.
Stop. That is Ronald Reagan, who is the god of all Republicans. He is saying that a trade war and tariffs is going to cause millions of people to lose their jobs. Have you heard of the Great Depression, brothers and sisters? Well, the Great Depression was caused by tariffs. That's how it happened. It was because Americans didn't want to do trade with other countries. They wanted to focus on America first. And so they stopped other countries from trading with America. And so Americans just did it themselves, which made the prices go up, which made bread lines and people starve. That's where the Great Depression came from. Tariffs. If you don't believe me, I'm not an economist. Let's go to the Wall Street Journal. The Wall Street Journal, this is from the Wall Street Journal this week, which is a conservative newspaper in New York. It's been around since the 1800s. And we'll see what the Wall Street Journal said about Donald Trump's trade war with Canada and Mexico and having a tariff war. Tariff is just a tax on foreign goods that the people in the country pay, not the foreign power. Whenever you have it, let me know. Concept. You need a minute?
Concept. I'm gonna have to get around the
am I missing a question in the room while we're waiting? I can answer a question online if you need me to. If not, let me get into my topic now. Here's the topic we're going to go into now, right? I'm going to show you how every one of Donald Trump's plans is going to hurt white people. And white people know it. You think I'm some economic genius? They know this already. They know what Donald Trump said about tariffs. It doesn't matter to white people because white people, one, they have Schadenfreude. Schadenfreude is the pleasure that people get from other people's misfortune, from other people's pain. The other thing is that they're getting something from Donald Trump that's more important than their job, more important than money, more important than living itself. The Wall Street Journal said what?
Said that this is the dumbest trade war in history.
In what?
In history.
That's from the Wall Street Journal. They said this is the dumbest trade war in history. Why are they doing it then? Why are white people supporting Donald Trump when everything he's doing, they know, is going to destroy America? I'm going to try to explain it to you. Give me more about Donald Trump. Give me more Donald. Give me anything. Whatever you have, I'll take it. So the trade war he's starting is the dumbest in history. And Ronald Reagan said it was going to cost millions of people their jobs. They know that already.
Example of fuck around and find out.
This is a good one. Well, stop 1 second. What does that say, please?
Utah firefighters watch as their Republican representatives take away their rights to collectively bargain.
Oh, the firemen and the police officer union, they love Donald Trump. Do y'all know about that? Oh, the Fraternal Order of Police and the Fraternal Order of Mustached Firemen, they love Donald Trump. All of them voted for Donald Trump. You know what they found out this week? That Donald Trump this week destroyed the policemen's union and the firemen's union. And they're protesting and want to go to court over it. Play it.
Fighters watch as the Republican representative.
He's going to get rid of you.
So the latest example of fuck around and find out, Utah firefighters watch as the Republican representatives take away their rights to collectively bargain. And it's not just for them, it's for police officers and teachers too. As of Thursday afternoon, HB 267, as written, would eliminate collective bargaining for public sector employees, including teachers, firefighters, and police officers. While it will prevent
video. All of the firemen and the police officers that supported Donald Trump, he's destroying their union right now. He's wiping them out. They didn't know he was going to do that. I knew, because I knew that Donald Trump is anti-union. Elon Musk is anti-union. They hate unions. Do you have a video for me?
No, sir.
They always have hated unions. Now, why would they have supported someone who hates union when the entire white middle class was invented because of unions? Unions are the reason there is a white middle class. That's the reason you see in New York all the time, all these white construction workers. You can't miss them. You go to a construction site in New York, I look at them, I go, look at all these white men working at this construction site. They all got boats. They all, where they live out in Westchester County, right? They all got boats. They all making giant money. Them cats working on these power lines. Oh my God, the money they make up. They make that money because of the union. That's why they make that money. They all supported Donald Trump. Donald Trump is destroying that union. They're going to lose their job or make a lot less money. Why did they vote for him? Why would you hurt yourself and vote for Donald Trump? I'll explain. I'll make blacks and Hispanics understand in 1 second. Play this video.
So we have Congressman Byron Donald, who last week called Donald Trump daddy on national
Yes,
television.
he did. He said, "Daddy's home now. He's half a homo." Keep going.
If you try to unionize, you're all gonna be fired. There's
Thank
no
you.
there's no union here.
Yeah.
It is my way. It's my name on the door, and my name was put on this door by the people back home in the district. So I'm showing up, and you're showing up. They didn't even question it. I just made sure everybody fully understood.
I wouldn't
the
expect
situation.
anybody from that community want to, try to unionize, especially somebody that's wanting to work for you. They're philosophically they're going to be on your page. You know what's the only time I agree with working from home?
He said, if you unionize, you're getting fired. How are all these white construction workers going to pay for their homes in Westchester County? How are they going to pay their child support in Westchester County, or that boat that they should have never bought? How are they going to pay for it? They voted for someone that's going to destroy their job, and they still voted for him. I'm going to explain why. Anything else about Donald Trump?
We have a throwback clip of Richard Spencer at a rally.
Go ahead. See me one more time with the chaser, please.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
Remember, they said that Elon Musk did not. That was just him giving his heart to everyone, giving his love out there to everyone. This is right before Elon Musk did this. Play it nice and big. Go ahead again.
Hail Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory!
Hail Donald Trump! Hail our people! Hail victory! When Elon Musk hit from the everyone see
Hail Trump!
Why would America, who went to war with Germany and lost their grandfather to the Germans, why would they vote for someone who is pro-Nazi in America today, right before class? Vladimir Putin is coming to the White House, and this week, Donald Trump issued a letter telling every single employee in the CIA that they could take a buyout and leave the job. Every single CIA employee got laid off this week. Now, do you understand me? I don't think you quite get what I'm saying. Every last one. It's on your phone. You can Google it. Read it.
CIA offers buyouts to entire workforce to align with Trump priorities.
Entire workforce. Entire one. Why would white people who hate the Russians, who hate the Germans, vote for someone who is going to give America to Putin, which is what Donald Trump is going to do? Donald Trump is going to give America to Vladimir Putin, everything here. He's going to give to him. He's going to give Europe to Vladimir Putin. The Soviet Union is coming back. It's coming back. Donald Trump is going to empower Vladimir Putin, and the Soviet Union that was gone, it's coming back again. They're going to take the Ukraine. They're going to take all of those countries in Eastern Europe, and the USSR is coming back again. Why would America want something like that when they used to have a Cold War and have nuclear weapons trained on each other for 50 years? Why would they do that? I'll tell you why in 1 second. There's a reason. I'll explain. Why would you love the Nazis when you went to war with the Nazis and they killed your grandfather? Why would you want that? I'll explain why. I'll tell you in a way that Black people and Hispanics will understand. Keep going. That might be enough for the point right there. Everybody gets the point. Now let's go to the Grammys. Clap it up for the Grammys this week. Who won? I'm sure. Did Beyonce win? That's really all that matters, right? As long as Beyonce won, we don't have to protest the Grammys. Because I remember last year, somebody had the nerve not to give Jay-Z's wife a Grammy. And there was a protest on my phone, like we had to have a civil rights uprising because Beyonce did not get 50 Grammys as opposed to her 49 Grammys that she has. Beyonce won so we all can show up to work on Monday. All right. Well, let me tell you what else happened at the Grammys. You know, Kendrick Lamar, he won and he did wonderful things. It was a beautiful event. I hear you. Kanye West brought out some naked white woman to the Grammys. She was ass naked. I did not get turned on at all. I don't think anyone got turned on. I don't think anybody was all excited about it because a naked white woman is not exciting. It did nothing for anyone. Nothing at all. Well, she got naked, and who gives a damn? Because white women are unattractive. And if you thought they were, then just turn on Kanye West and see him walk this mannequin down the red carpet, and no one is aroused. No one. Say again? A German Shepherd. That's correct. No one got excited at all. What else happened at the Grammys? There was a white woman. What's her name, Mark?
Chappelle Roan.
This woman is named Chappelle Rowan. Your daughter might know who she is. I do not know who this is, but her name is Chappelle Rowan, and this is her Grammy speech. Now, understanding this speech will help you to understand white Donald Trump supporters. Go.
Hello. Thank you to my fellow nominees whose music got me through this past year. Brat was the best night of my life this year. My hat's gonna fall and it's gonna be okay. Thank you all who listened to get me here today. And Dan and Island Records, Amusement Records, my friends and my family. And above all, my Papa Chapel, who I named myself after. I told myself if I ever won a Grammy and I got to stand up here in front of the most powerful people in music, I would demand that labels and the industry profiting millions of dollars off of artists would offer a livable wage and healthcare, especially to developing artists.
This is a woman who just won a Grammy. And she said, if I ever got a Grammy, I would come up here and say that record companies need to offer a livable wage to artists. Blacks and Hispanics, your dream is to be a rapper or a singer. That's your dream. Rappers and singers do not get a livable wage, Young. They're poor. They're starving artists. Everybody who you idolize right now is driving an Uber. You understand me? Anyone from the 80s and 90s, Houdini, give me some more people out there. They're Uber drivers up. Am I making this up? I'm not. I'm not making this up. Everybody you went to their concert with back in the day, if you're my age, you're going to get in the Uber one day and there's going to be Grandmaster Caz sitting right there in the Uber, in the truck. Or the man from One Young Love, One Love. You're just lucky just enough to have one. Next person to get in my cab and drive him downtown. They are poor. How many years have you heard about the music business and how they destroy artists and give them nothing? Have you heard of Puff Daddy? Have you heard of him? Have you heard of Day 26 is on my phone crying like babies. Did y'all see that this week? Who knows who Day 26 is? There's some group that Puff Daddy had on his TV show. Brother, they were crying like girls out on some show about Puff Daddy. I mean, tears crying. Because anyone who is a singer or a rapper is starving to death and poor, yet it's your dream to become a musician, a rapper, or a singer. Why do you want to do this thing when you know that every person that signs that contract makes no money? You heard Irv Gotti died this week. He's dead. Oh, you wanted to be him, didn't you? Didn't you want to be in Murder, Inc. and the B. Ja Rule? Wasn't that your fantasy? He dies penniless with nothing at all. Here's my question to you, Black people. Why do you want to be in the music business when your entire life you have heard that the music business starves artists and gives them nothing and steals their money and gives them terrible contracts and they die penniless, and then someone has to do a benefit to pay your hospital bills. Am I making this up? This is common knowledge. Give me Little Richard. Let me show you what the music business is. This is what the music business is. And I don't believe I'm telling you something you don't know already. I believe you know that you get nothing. I believe you know the contract is going to be terrible. I believe you know countless stories that will go back, how long? The 30s? I can go back to the 1930s about blacks and Hispanics signing a record contract where they get nothing and some white man gets everything. And you die in a homeless shelter. The people you idolized as a child are in homeless shelters right now. The people you idolize who are young, they're going to end up in homeless shelters. They're going to die with nothing. You have Little Richard, and then we'll go back to the woman, all right, after this. Little Richard, everyone knows Little Richard wore makeup, right? Little Richard dressed like a homo. Everybody, you young people, you might not know who Little Richard is. So, Doc, have you ever heard of Little Richard before? I know. Little Richard was this cat who sung a ton of songs back in the 50s. He was super famous, but he dressed like a woman. He wore makeup. He wore, he wore makeup, basically. And he dressed and acted like a homo, right? Or an LGBT person, right? Little Richard explained why he did that. And I'll play the video. You have it.
Richard said not because he was gay, but because wearing wigs and makeups, the whites was more comfortable and he was able to get more shows. Guys like James Brown and them who didn't wear makeup, they had problems with playing white.
So when I was younger, I started my band to dress in this way, and they wanted to stop working with me because we couldn't go into clubs. White clubs wouldn't allow us in there. So I started the band to wearing makeup, and we started wearing makeup so we can get into the clubs. The only way we can get into the white clubs is wear makeup because they figured that if you had the makeup, you wouldn't bother the girls. So we wore makeup so they would let us in.
Oh.
That's where we got through.
But you can't.
When I was singing rock and roll, at that time they would call black music race music. When I sung rock and roll, I was on RCA Victor before Elvis Presley, but they wouldn't put me on RCA. They put me on Camden. So when I would wear makeup, they would let me sing for the white girls. When I put on eyelashes and all that, they would let me sing. But when I went as a straight dude, they wouldn't let me sing.
Now why is that?
Well, they thought I wanted the girls. So if I came out a straight guy, they wouldn't let me sing. But when I came out with all the makeup on and all the eyelashes and all the hair, they said Richard is a good boy. I never was a good man, but I was a good boy.
I mean, without the makeup, they think you coming to get their women.
They put you out.
Oh yeah.
They put James Brown out every time.
Wow. Oh really?
James gonna put it on this way. He wouldn't put it on at all. He refused.
And he couldn't get in though.
I packed it on.
And I give James Brown a hand. James Brown wasn't having that bullshit on. Why would Richard Pryor act like he was gay? Why would he even do something like that? Because without doing that, he would have starved to death. He would have had nothing. Richard, you had to act gay. Am I telling you young brothers something? Sadaka, have you ever heard about a rapper wearing a dress or a purse? I know you know about that, brother. You see, you don't know about James Brown, but you damn sure know about a rapper wearing a purse, wearing a dress. Now you all know why black men have to wear dresses and purses, because wearing that dress or that purse makes white men feel comfortable and they're not threatened anymore by your masculinity. They're threatened by it. And you'll starve to death if you don't wear that purse, if you don't wear that dress. That's the music business. Everyone knows about it. Everyone knows it. Go back to the white woman.
Because I got signed so young, I got signed as a minor, and when I got dropped, I had 0 job experience under my belt, and like most people, I had a difficult time finding a job in the pandemic and could not afford health insurance. It was so devastating to feel so committed to my art and feel so betrayed by the system and so dehumanized to not have health. And if my label would have prioritized artist health, I could have been provided care by a company I was giving everything to. So Labels need to treat their artists as valuable employees with a livable wage and health insurance and protection. Labels, we got you, but do you got us?
Now here, I need a question from everyone in the chat right here. What I'm telling you, you already know about the music business, right? Yet, I think 2 out of 3 of you are desperate to get into the music business, right? Why? Now, if you can answer this question, then you will understand the white people that support Donald Trump. Even though he's going to make them lose their job, he's going to bring back disease and death and starvation, and he's a Nazi, but yet they still support him. Answer this question. Why do you still want to be in the music business knowing all of these stories about what the music business does to blacks and Hispanics? I'll give you 10 seconds to try to answer. Levi?
So like the other one. Is it a mental?
Camera?
Is it a
Camera? Someone help him out, brothers. Right here in the front row. Just turn it. Oh, I'm sorry. You want it already? Go ahead.
If I may, other one. Is it a mental illness?
What do you mean?
Meaning that black people and Hispanics, we idolize the superstars that we see on TV, and because of that, we develop this mental illness, thinking that we could fit in the lifestyle that's being sold to us.
Is that why white Donald Trump supporters support Donald Trump, even though it's going to hurt them if he becomes president?
They support him because they believe in the illusion of white supremacy, that they are included.
They believe they're not going to lose their job. I'm sorry, Ephraim, go ahead, tell him.
Good. Oh, good. No, they believe that because of white supremacy, now they are superior than black people, and because of that, it does not matter if they're losing their job or not.
Okay, now you're walking down the aisle to it, but you're just not tying it to the Grammys or the music business, right? But you're walking down the aisle. Let me give someone a chance online. Anyone online?
So they're saying fame, validation, to feel accepted, the American dream.
Well, I can't say it's the American dream because you know that they don't make any money. You've heard these stories your entire life. You know this already, but you still do it. I'm gonna try to give you the answer. 1 second. Go ahead. Anything else online?
A few validation and recognition from whites.
I mean, you can get validation from whites in a lot of different ways. Shalal Yala?
Got on concert. Do they want to be a part of it out of fear?
Be a part of what?
They want to be a part of the conglomerate, so to speak, out of fear?
No. In the back of you, Trooper, go ahead.
So like I said, is it because somehow it goes against the will of God, everything that they promote?
You're right, but that's not why they would do it, even though they've heard about all the horror stories that happen to people who get in the music business. Let me give you the answer. To what? This is why. Because they love rapping and singing. Let's say there was no music business. Would they rap for free? Have you been to a basketball court at night? I said, well, I live over here right in 115th Street and 5th Avenue out. All night they was on that court rapping out. And I heard some good rap out there. I remember going, God, that cat can spit out there. That cat can rap out there. 2 a.m. on the train, in school, in the cafeteria. Black people love to sing and rap. They love doing it. They love doing it so much, they would do it for free. Do you understand? Hispanics love it. You don't need to get money if you're doing something that you would do for free. You love it so much. These people would rap for free. You understand me? You don't got to pay them. which is why they don't get paid. Will the music business ever get a union? Ever? Who can answer the question? It's real easy. Why won't they? Because what is integral in a union? What is the only way that a company gets unionized? Because the union tells the boss what? We will go on strike. Will the music business ever unionize? No. Why? Because a rapping ass nigga will never stop rapping. Ever. He will never stop. You don't have to give him money. And these hoes that they got rapping now, you take some hoe, tell her strip ass naked. She will do it. Let's say one girl says, I'm not going to strip naked. I refuse. What will the music business just do? Come on, it's about simple as give him a hand. Yeah. Next. Oh, you won't strip naked. Next. Will you do it? Absolutely, I'll do it. Why would you have to pay them money when someone will do it? The whole key to unionizing is we won't work. We're not going in unless you give us money. How do you become a union when the people love it so much? They're never going to stop. They're going to strip. You want somebody to wear a purse? Come on, give me the purse. Put me in a dress. Let me strip ass naked. Tell me what you need me to do. Will Nelly go perform at Donald Trump's inauguration? You goddamn right he will. Will Snoop Dogg do it? Yes, he'll do it. Here's what I know people never looked at when they look at Snoop Dogg and Nelly. Everyone got angry about Snoop Dogg and Nelly performing at Donald Trump's inauguration because they called them sellouts, right? They called them Uncle Times. You know what you might want to consider? Maybe Snoop Dogg has been selling out the whole time. Maybe that's why he talked. Maybe that's why he talked about shooting people and doing drugs. Why do you think Snoop Dogg just started selling out when he performed at the inauguration? Maybe him glorifying drug dealing was also him selling out. Do you understand? Maybe that's what he was doing the entire time. You looked at Nelly like, Nelly, what are you doing? You a sellout. Maybe Nelly has been selling out. Maybe every word out of a rapper's mouth is doing what some white man told them to do and say. So maybe it was very normal for them to support Donald Trump if some white man tells them to do it or say it. You know this about the music business. Why do you still want to do it? Because you love rapping. You love singing. You love the cheers. You love the girls. What does that have to do with Donald Trump supporters? Donald Trump supporters are going to lose their jobs. They're going to lose their union. They're going to die in hospitals of diseases that are curable. They're going to serve the Russians and the Germans, but they're getting something that they love. And they love white supremacy more than they love money, more than they love the union, more than they love their country. Do you understand? And when you support a white Hitler salute, you love white people more than you love the country, more than you love America. You love whiteness and white superiority above all things. So Donald Trump doesn't have to give you a job. You're like a black or Hispanic rapper. You don't have to give white people a job. You don't have to give them lower prices in the supermarket. Give them the feeling of superiority over Hispanics. They'll lose their job. That's all. They'll live outside. They'll lose their job. They'll die in a hospital of a curable disease. But as they're on that bed, they're thinking, those spics aren't better than me. Those spics are not better than me. Boom. And drop dead. That's all. So whenever you see a Donald Trump supporter doing something that's going to hurt him, just remember, you would do it too if it gave you a record deal. You would do it. You wouldn't care if you didn't get any money. Would you sign a bad contract? You know you would. right? You know, you damn sure would sign that contract because you don't care about money. You care about rapping. That is the correlation between Donald Trump supporters and the Grammys. Everyone understands. All right, Pappy. All right, where are we at now? I gotta go. Oh, shit, I'm way past time. Where's the?
We got a few more.
Okay, go
cross the
ahead.
lines to while Captain Zariak's doing it remotely tonight.
Okay, then let's go into something that is going to become very important and solve a problem. Of course, since Donald Trump has become president, right? I've gotten many calls from Hispanic brothers and sisters in the world saying, what are we going to do now? Now, Hispanics feel like fugitives now. If you talk to them, they feel like fugitives, right? Haitians feel like fugitives. Hispanics, West Indians, they all feel like fugitives. One day they were helping America, working hard every day, being the backbone of this country. Then the next day they're on the run and they're fugitives. And they call me and they say, well, what are we going to do? And I'm going to give you the answer to solving the problem with deportations and Donald Trump's hatred of Hispanics. The Immigrant Underground Railroad. That's what's going to happen, brothers and sisters. Don't you ever feel afraid if you're an Hispanic. Don't feel afraid. Don't be worried. Everything is going to be fine. Nosotros somos su familia y aquí estamos para ustedes. Everything is going to be okay. We're going to take care of you. You don't have to worry. Black people in the UPK and blacks and Hispanics all over the world. We're going to set up an underground railroad for you. And history in the end will deem us heroes. History in the end will say that we did the right thing. That's what's going to happen for Hispanics. An underground railroad. You're going to be safe. You're going to be protected. You're going to be covered with God's wings the way a hen covers her chicks. You're going to be safe out. And if you're Hispanic out there and you're concerned about your safety, about your family, don't worry. There's an underground railroad right now being established for you. Does everyone understand? I'm going to prove it to you, and I'm going to show you that it's right in history. Give me that brother in Harlem up. It was a brother in Harlem that is rarely talked about, that Ephraim Ashaya Allah knows about. I want to give, I want you to bring it up to everyone on camera, all right? What's the brother's name?
It's David Ruggles.
Give David Ruggles a hand, man. David Ruggles. Ephraim, explain David Ruggles, please.
Sir, you sent me this video and it got me so excited because I love telling people about this brother. This was downtown in Lower Manhattan in Tribeca. And this brother he came to New York and he became the first black grocery store owner, and then he became the first black bookstore owner.
Mm-hmm.
And he used his bookstore as a stop on the Underground Railroad.
Mm-hmm.
His store was actually when Frederick Douglass first escaped slavery and came to New York. He was the first stop at David Ruggles.
Mm-hmm.
Over 1,000 brothers and sisters passed through there. And he was known for not only that using his business as a stop on the Underground Railroad, but this was a time when, because the port was right nearby, they would go through the streets of Lower Manhattan, kidnapping brothers and sisters and getting them onto the ships and getting them down south or even to South America into slavery. He led a group that would go and de-kidnap those brothers and sisters. And he was even known for going up on the slave ships and bringing brothers and sisters off the ship. Out of one kind.
David Ruggles. I've never heard of him. He would go on the slave ship, take the brothers off the slave ship, take the sisters off the slave ship, go to a plantation down south and rescue them, repatriate them, and take them up north, take them to somewhere they can be safe. And he had a bookstore right down there where Wall Street is today. I believe it's Cortlandt Street. 1 Cortlandt Street is where David Ruggles' bookstore is, which is where, the financial district is right now in Lower Manhattan. All right? This is a famous man. Fought everything. Fighting and tooth and nail. Eventually, he went blind. Eventually, he went blind because of all the pain and suffering he had to go through to fight an unjust law. He fought it out. He did it. And he didn't kill anybody. He didn't harm anybody. He just went and protected people from this unjust law. And now he is a Black History Month hero. That's him. He paid the price for it. but he did something amazing. And men like him are what make America really great. David Ruggles, because he was willing to go through something for somebody. He did something for someone else. And now he's a hero now. What do Hispanics need now? A David Ruggles. That's what they need. Hispanics just need someone that will care about them. You don't need to hate anyone. You don't need to hate anyone. You just need to love somebody else. If you can love someone, then you'll be able to help the Hispanics. And because of your love, they're going to be safe. And before you know it, the Most High God will deliver us from this current danger. He always does it. El amor conquisto al odio. El amor conquisto al odio. Love will always conquer hate. Always. Donald Trump is full of hatred for the Hispanics, even though he's the reason that we aren't starving to death right now. Who's going to love the Hispanics? Who's going to love them? I believe there'll be many brothers and sisters that will step up and love them. History will call it the Immigrant Underground Railroad. It's going to happen again. Let me give you some more proof, if I could, historically. What else do you have?
So we have, first we have a video breaking down how much more productive and how much better the Mexicans are than.
Let me tell you something. If you really cared about America, you would support the Hispanics and the immigrants being here. If you loved America, you would support illegal immigration. Hear me good. These white people don't even love America. They hate America. They're not patriotic. You hate America. I'll prove it to you. And what year was this? Do you have it? This is, I think, 2022.
And Mexico
Play this, please, and then give me the one about what they contribute. No, first give me the one of how much they contribute in tax dollars. In 2022, there was a census taken. In 2022, illegal immigrants contributed billions of dollars into the Social Security Fund. Billions. And illegal immigrants cannot get Social Security. Now, for those of you who don't understand what I'm saying, just think carefully. The Social Security Fund is the money that they take out of your check every week, and you pay into Social Security. Illegal immigrants paid how much into Social Security? Do you have that yet?
Sir, 25.7 billion.
Illegal immigrants in 1 year, paid 27.5 billion. Put it up on the screen. Billion, if you can. If it's a jam up, tell me.
A little bit.
No problem. Illegal immigrants put $27.5 billion into the Social Security Fund. However, read the rest of it, please.
Unauthorized immigrants, however, are ineligible to claim Social Security benefits.
Jesus Christ. Unauthorized immigrants put $27 billion into Social Security. However, they cannot collect Social Security. Do you understand what that means? Meaning, if you're on Social Security, you're getting money because of an immigrant who put money in it and he can't take any. He can't get Social Security. And you still hate him. You still want to get rid of him? Do you understand that getting rid of illegal immigrants is going to destroy Social Security for American citizens? It's going to take away $27 billion out of it. Yet you still want to get rid of him? He's going to get an underground railroad, brother. That's what he's going to get. He's going to get help because he has helped. He's going to get love because he has given love. He's going to get kindness because she has given kindness. El amor conquisto al odio. He's going to get it because love is going to conquer hate. Keep going. What else do we have? Now I'll play the video you wanted to show me just now.
We can't help us too much because to be perfectly blunt, the Mexicans are too smart and too skilled and are too good at doing better things.
For a second. This is an economist. He's a doctor, and he's examined the immigrant population and the immigrant issue, and this is his assessment of it. Play it from the top.
And Mexico probably can't help us too much because to be perfectly blunt, the Mexicans are too smart and too skilled and are too good at doing better things.
You're saying the Mexicans are smarter and more skilled than the Chinese.
Oh yeah, oh yes. I would say that in terms of labor productivity per hour worked by cost, Mexican labor costs about 1/3 of Chinese labor, but produces twice as much.
Wow. So why don't we
use? They're arguably the most value-added economy out there right now.
Stop. Let me tell you something about Mexicans, which you won't know without having a heart to see who they are or without reading about them in the Bible. David said this about the Mexicans, the tribe of Yashakar, that they were skillful in warfare. There is no industry that the Mexicans can't take over. They can take over the military. They could take over the science industry, the restaurant industry, every industry, because Mexicans have this gift, which I'll try to make you understand. Mexicans are quick learners. They learn fast. So if you bring them on a construction site, and if you talk to them for an hour, they're going to understand how to build the house. David saw this. David would not have been able to be king over a unified Israel without Yashakar. They were the reason that he was able to take over Israel, because they were so skillful in war. They learned fast. They learned quick. They control the restaurant business. They control Hollywood. Right now, all of the cameramen and the people that work the lights and the engineers in Hollywood are Mexican right now, because they learn fast. They walk onto a job site and go, see, I got it. And then the white people can leave because they learn quick. They're bilingual. They come here and they speak 3 languages. I went to Mexico to a resort. I'm on some beach in a resort, and there's some Mexican girl there, and she's talking to me in fluent English. Then she goes and talks to a coworker in Spanish. Then a French white woman came in, and she talked to her in fluent French. I looked at her and I go, that's Yashakar. The Bible says that he is hired. He can do any job. You put him in it, give him an hour of training, and that's going to be that. Do you think the Chinese can compete with a Mexican in the workforce? They can't. This economist is telling you they can't compete with them. They're too smart. They're too skilled. I didn't say it. This economist just said it. Please go ahead.
So why doesn't, I don't know. I don't hear this from mainstream media. So why don't we depend more on Mexico for services?
They're our #1 trading partner, and they will be for the rest of our lives. Yeah, the Mexicans are firing on all cylinders. The problem is that there's only 130 million Mexicans, and there's 1.3 billion Chinese. And the Mexicans can't add again in the next 10 years what they've done in the previous 30. They don't have enough workers.
Population-wise, they can't.
Yeah, Mexico is a huge partner, valuable partner, already a committed partner, not going anywhere. But they can't pick up and do what a billion low-skilled Chinese labor.
Right, the only reason America is even working with the Chinese is because there's billions of them. Mexicans are smarter than the Chinese. Their work is better than the Chinese. It's cheaper than the Chinese, but there's billions of Chinese. And otherwise, they wouldn't even be working with the Chinese. Are you going to have a great country without Mexicans? Not according to this economist. Not according to him, you're not. You can't. He said Mexico is going to be the trading partner of America for the rest of your life, because that's how good they are at everything. They're fast learners. They're better than the Chinese. They're better than white people. If you loved America, you would love Mexicans. But you don't love America. All you love is your own hubris, your own pride, your own hatred of everyone so you can exalt yourself. You love that more than you love your union job. You love that more than you love money or food in your refrigerator. What else do you have?
We got John Brown's last words.
Yeah, here's the last one here. This is going into the Immigrant Underground Railroad. There was a man named John Brown. He was a white man. Give him a hand. Let me tell you something. If you ever wanted to know, was there good white people on this earth? John Brown is the example of a good white man. What a good white man John Brown is. I'll give you a brief history of John Brown. John Brown was an abolitionist. John Brown was a friend of Frederick Douglass and helped him in his movement, a friend of Harriet Tubman, and helped Harriet Tubman escape slaves. John Brown was the man. John Brown was a white man from Virginia. John Brown killed white people as a pursuit of justice and kindness. Now, he was a white man, but he killed a lot of white people trying to free black people from slavery. They eventually caught him. They caught John Brown. And what I have for you today are the last words that John Brown ever said before he was killed. John Brown was killed. He was executed because he freed slaves and took the lives of white people in the course of freeing these slaves. What we're going to read right now is his last words. Then we're going to play an actor who is acting out the actual words of John Brown. He's going to do a play, and these words he's reading are the actual words of John Brown. Whatever you have, if you want to play the whole play, if it's faster for you, you can just play the play. If it's simpler, all right?
I have, may it please the court,
Listen loud.
a few words to say. In the first place,
I can't quite hear.
I deny everything but what I have all along admitted. The design on my part to free the slaves. I intended certainly to have made a clear thing of that matter, as I did last winter when I went into Missouri and there took slaves without the snapping of a gun on either side, moved them through the country, and finally left them in Canada. I designed to have done that same thing again on a larger scale. That was all I intended. I never intended murder or treason or destruction of property or to excite or incite the slave to rebellion or make insurrection. I have another objection, and that is, it is unjust that I should suffer such a penalty. Had I interfered in the manner which...
This is John Brown. These are his actual last words. You know, at the end of a trial, when the judge says, would you like anything to say before we administer judgment? These are the words he said. He didn't intend to hurt anybody. He just intended to free these slaves. When he went to free the slaves, the slave masters would try to stop him. But he didn't intend to murder them, but he had to fight because the slave masters tried to stop him from freeing these slaves. That was his intent, to free the slaves. And he's saying that this punishment he's about to get is unjust because they're about to put him to death. As soon as this speech is over, you can go read this speech online. Go look up the last words of John Brown. This last part is the part that's important. He's saying that my punishment that I'm about to receive is unjust for this reason. Go ahead and play.
Just that I should suffer such a penalty. Had I interfered in the manner which I admit, and which I admit has been fairly proved, had I so interfered in behalf of the rich, powerful, the intelligent, the so-called great, or in behalf of any of their friends, either father, mother, brother, sister, wife, or children, or any of that class, and suffered and sacrificed what I have in this interference, it would have been all right. And every man in this courtroom would have deemed it an act worthy of reward rather than punishment.
Stop. Give John Brown a hand now. What a white man. That's a good white man. He said if I would have done what I did in defense of the rich or the wealthy or the powerful, then it would have been an act worthy of reward and not punishment. The Mexicans, the Hispanics, the immigrants deserve an underground railroad. They deserve it.
Because if you were to go out your way and to sacrifice and to suffer for rich people, you would be rewarded for that. You wouldn't be hated for it. Now somehow it's become wrong to love Hispanics, to care for them, to appreciate their hard work, to appreciate the blood and sacrifice that they made to make this country great. How could that be wrong to reward someone who has rewarded you for so long? And remember, brother, carnelismo es un arma. Brotherhood is a weapon. What do you think brotherhood is for? This is the point of brotherhood, to give someone kindness and love and appreciation and protection, that if you gave it to a rich man, they would applaud you. They would think it's great. John Brown is an American hero. He should have plaques and statues in the place of these pedophiles that have statues right now. He should have one. He should be remembered. Hispanic out there, don't you worry about it. Don't fret a bit. Don't be afraid. Nosotros somos su familia y aquí estamos para ustedes. Tenemos un enemigo común. Pero cuando nos unimos, nuestros adversarios caerán. One day, everyone that has tried to afflict us and hurt us, they're going to fall because we decided to love each other. Everyone understands? Los entiendos. Gracias. With that, pass the class over to Ephraim in the back. You got it.
Men of Israel, Imajim, which means to stand. We're going to give one courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat, Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Ba'Shem Yoshai Rakathab, Yajim Matah. Sorry, and face the sisters. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Imajim Shabbat. Men of Israel, Imajim Shabbat. Imajim, Barak, Yahweh Shabara Al Thun Ba'Shem Yahushai. Yajim Matah. Class dismissed.
Drake, it's a little bit surreal to actually see you in the flesh, because you've always made it a point of just letting the music speak for yourself, which is something I really respect. But the spotlight has been shining so bright for the past few months. I've just been wondering how you've been processing behind the scenes, how you've been feeling about everything happening, all the success.
It's just really just I want to look at it like it's just a continuum of who I am, really. I've always stayed to myself, always been in my own bubble, whether it's with the fam or whether it's training. How I process it all is just, I continue to do what I was doing 10 years ago, and that's like, be better in myself, better in the craft, and not look at it as bright lights, you know? Mm-hmm. And it may sound cliche, but it always worked for me, even when I was younger, you know, playing sports or being in the forefront of presentations and stuff like that. It was like, I gotta look at myself in the mirror rather than looking at it as a crowd or, you know, fame and attention.
So now, early days of your career, you know, Section 80 days, even early mixtapes, and you perfecting your craft as an MC. Did you ever think we'd be at the Super Bowl with this?
I wasn't thinking about no Super Bowl.
You never thought about the Super Bowl?
I wasn't thinking about no Super Bowl for sure. We was thinking about the best verse and how we gonna split this $5 at Church's Chicken or something like that. It wasn't no Super Bowl. Going to the studio and getting a meal. But I think, well, what I know is the passion I have now is still the passion I had then. And I think that carried on to the Super Bowl. So it was all about being present. As long as I was present in the studio and present in whatever that line was or whatever that mistake was, rapping or doing hooks or choruses or whatnot, I was present in that moment. I felt that passion. I think being present and not actually foreseeing everything kept me in the grounded state of mind in order to be at, big stages like this.
I think we felt that presence and that focus in your work for the past 15 years. Like Ebro said, going all the way back to projects like Overly Dedicated. And so seeing you perform with Dr. Dre at the halftime show 3 years ago, we already felt like that was the most hip hop, beautiful halftime show ever. And now for you to come back and be the first solo hip hop artist to headline, how does it feel being the artist to hit that milestone? And, just your thoughts on what that means